guys and gals, Joe here. Grab your tea, favorite spirit, or smoke, and enjoy Thump, the podcast about everything yet nothing at all. Dirty is the undisputed genius and king of Lawnland on YouTube, crowned the king for calling out the dumbasses who saw themselves as stars, earning him an army of loyal followers. Armed with his sharp intellect, this mofo fearlessly took down these idiots. With every video, he dissected the flawed practices and debunked myths in a manner that left his viewers in awe. Also, Dirty has a passion that fuels his creativity and energy, surfing. When he's not sharing his knowledge with the masses, you can find Dirty riding the waves. Dirty's genius, combined with his commitment to enlightening and entertaining his viewers, has undeniably made him the reigning king of Lawnland on YouTube. Dirty continues to reign as the supreme mofo, captivating audiences with his intense wit, vast knowledge, and unquenchable thirst for excellence. His primary focus is on 100 acres. He and his business partner are developing into a
Where the hell is Float?
Float, who also works in the lawn care and pressure washing industries, is the sensational sapsucker from Alabama. This finned extraordinaire isn't just any old fish. No, sir. Float happens to be the crowned king of fishing, a title he earned with his impeccable sapsucker rodcasting skills and uncanny ability to outsmart even the smallest of aquatic creatures. But Float isn't just about reeling in the big ones and boasting about his trophy catches. Oh no, he's got a little something extra up his scaly sleeve. When he's not dominating the fishing scene, Float is busting a move and wiggling his worm on social media platforms. Yes, this fantastic fish has some seriously smooth moves and isn't afraid to show them off to his adoring fans. With his viral dance videos, Float spreads joy and laughter far and wide. From the electric minnow slide to the boogie brim shuffle, his repertoire is guaranteed to keep you hooked and tapping for more. But what truly sets Float apart from the rest is his heartfelt motto, love always wins. In a world where finning and fishing for likes can take center stage, Float reminds us all that love, kindness, eating crappy food, that Dirty sends him, and a good old belly laugh can triumph above all else. So let's all take a lesson from this incredible sapsucker, and remember to spread love and joy wherever we go, just like Float, the fishing king with moves that would make even the salmon blush. Get ready, mofos. Thump Podcast will soon begin. And remember, love always wins.
Look who's in the house. It's Jesse. I was Float too scared.
Is he here?
No, he's too scared to come up.
Wow.
He chickened out.
He'll have that.
He knew that he was going to get harassed for, not being able to catch anything but a bunch of damn minnows. So he got smart and jacked out.
He's always calling off. He
had to work. I know, he's always calling off. He said he had to work. We'll believe him this time, just this once.
Right. He's got a fancy song going.
This is a friend of mine.
Yeah, that's good.
This is about, I guess it's more than 10 years old now. He got a lot of attention locally. And he's never tried to be big. He just records and hits some of the local shit and wins everything. If there's a competition, he's won every time. Some people refuse to go up against him if they know he's entered something.
I was trying to hook my phone up to Bluetooth for my mixer, but I can't figure it out. Nothing seems to be connecting right today.
Oh. What's up, Benji? What's up, Andrew? And the 5 other motherfuckers in here that better hit the like button. You better hit it, because if I find you on the street and find out you didn't, I will knock your fucking lights out. And if I don't, Jesse's on the other side up there. He'll hit you.
Why'd I just lose you?
He carries a baseball bat. Jesse, you didn't lose us. You're there.
There we go. Lost my audio for a second. Everything. I've been getting attacked today. Nothing seems to go right.
Ron, what's up? Ron, yeah, man. What's everybody up to, man? We're just cold chilling. This is the last official podcast in this room. And I know that's kind of a to some people because this is the new office. But things are shaking and moving, and I've got a new office being built.
Awesome.
Let's say that. I was in here just a matter of a vigil for Virgil getting lit up here. Look at that, the same color as my shirt. And, I don't know. You drunk, Benji? What mustache? Damn, the ceiling fan's gonna mess me up, man. I'm gonna have to lower the blow.
I'm trying to grow the beard out, Andrew. Just last week, I was a smooth baby face.
He was smooth. He's a smooth mofo. So what has been going on with you, man? What's been up?
Same thing, just working, but then it's been slow. Some good stuff is I was able to save some money, put some money in the safe, and because I thought I had a bunch of work coming, so I was like, okay, we're not touching this until Christmas, no matter what. And then a bunch of work fell through, and I talked to Kayla. I'm like, hey, let's get this shit. No, I'm like, oh fuck. She's like, work harder. I'm like, no, you. Oh, we got pretty good. So now I just kind of been just grinding a little harder.
Dude, it happens like that. It does, man. Shit, when it comes in bursts like that, especially when you're not just starting out, you're kind of getting a fresh start, but it still happens then too, man. It's like, all right, look at all this, and you turn around right when you think your shit's gonna start getting real busy, and it's like, where'd everybody go?
Yeah, because the weather broke, but the weather just broke again. So this time, I've just kind of just letting in the nice days, kind of like people are just talking right now. And I just kind of like let people talk, and I kind of got their excitement going versus, let the weather acclimate. By the second week of March, where we're going into, and then by the first week of April, for sure, everybody's going to be needing work. So it's just like kind of got my wheels spinning a little bit too quick. And but like we've been doing this demo, and it's just a young couple. Is like they're both nurses. And so like they're excited that we just tore a wall down. You'll see a video coming out here soon. I don't know if I want to wait till the whole project's finished or do it in pieces, but like, me and Trevor has this project going. But like, I know like they need some landscaping done, some minor stuff, your typical mulch trimming, and then their stuff. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Nice.
I'm back in the biz, bro.
He's back.
I'm back in business. I took a leap, and it is what it is.
He's back. You're probably what 2.5 to 3 weeks behind us weather-wise.
Right. Yeah.
And, dude, today here, and it's usually dead ass middle of March is when it happens too, and the phone would not fucking stop, dude. It would not fucking stop.
One thing that had me down in the dumps really bad, and I think that's where like I've been sick for like a month, it seems like, and I think a lot of it's got to do with anxiety of like losing some work. But like I lost my Google My Business because I changed my name, and I've appealed it, and I've appealed it, and I've appealed it. And now I didn't have on this Google My Business versus the Black Fork one, the original Black Fork one. I didn't have I only had like 15 positive 5 stars, which is still a great jump. But then, like, once I changed my name and added mowing, dude, I've lost it. And I've lost every appeal so far. And, like, I think that kind of just put me in a major slump, too, of, like, you know what I mean? Because that does help. But does it do all, like, is it my bread and butter? No. Word of mouth and passing out flyers is my bread and butter. But it does come in handy.
Yeah, but and it also, it's almost like a little trophy piece to see that sitting up there, you know?
Right. And when I lost it, all because I changed my name, which you're allowed to do, and I added mowing to it. That was it. Yeah. And it's like, I told the Google people, I was like, hey, like, just send me another Google verification type thing for this address. no, we'll get back with you. And then like they want it, like you can't get a hold of nobody. And I was like,
no, because you're talking to fucking AI.
Right. And I called, I was talking to Juggernaut about this the other day, and he's like, dude. And I was like, you know what? Because I was really sad, like in my own head about it. And like, I just looked at it like, okay, this is just going to be a new way for me to just go get new clientele. And instead of having the clientele that I had when I was, the ones I built, just kind of start over. And to no better time than now to start over of a new,
right.
You know what I mean? It's the only way to look at it is to be positive about it. Yeah, I'm back in Kentucky, bud.
It's it could be defeating. I know it's like I rarely count on mine. It's and I dude, in 3 cities I sit at number 1, and I get far more phone calls from word of mouth than I do off of Google. And
I think I only got like 4 calls last year from Google, and they weren't super problem, but like that felt good. Because it was places to where I wouldn't have thought to go more. It was people out in rural county, out in like Grayson County, Elliott County, like different areas around here. It was just like, it was nice. But like, it is what it is. Like, I want to get a tighter route this year anyway. I've already talked to there was a guy on here who's been a buddy of mine for a long time. He actually passed away. American Pride Lawn Maintenance, Rob Klein. He passed away last year, a year and a half ago. And his son-in-law took over his business. And so like, I've been keeping in contact with him. So like, he's like, well, if I want to do whoop whoop, and I'm like, hey man, you need sub work. So I've been talking to the local guys around. It's pretty excited about it.
Right. That's just it, man. You got to keep your gums bumping, man. You got to keep the gums bumping.
Say it again, buddy.
I said you got to keep your gums bumping, man. That's the trick to it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize that. People just think that I don't know what they're thinking. A lot of them are chasing nothing but the new products. And as much as Dick Stain Shane bothers me, that's the one thing he's definitely right about. But he's right for the wrong reasons. He's 20 years in business. He should have some toys and some bells and some whistles and be right. But the heart of what he's saying for the new guys and just in guys, he's right. These too many people, and you see it on both worlds that I'm in, just everybody's they're worried about their CRM. They're worried about their truck. Right. They're worried about their equipment. Like, dude, just have fucking work.
That so bad. And people like you and even like Scotty Mac told me that, or Rick Romans would get on me bad, and I fell into because that's cool. You know what I mean?
No, you think it's cool,
right? Exactly. You think it's cool because it's flashy, and you see. But like now, I have I don't know if it's kind of like taking a bunch of time off, maybe having another kid. Doing things a lot different this time. It's just growing older, and it's like I don't care. Like I finally got my engine unfreed, but now it's like the linkage, and I drained the pump fluid today. I just took apart my unloader valve, and I got to clean that up. So it's like,
dude, get this. I had the job from hell last week, dude. I had a house that is, massive. Okay,
Roger that.
One of my bigger houses that I do. It was built in 1750. George Washington literally stayed in that house for a week. That's how famous this house is too. And I'm up there watching that thing.
Big steeple, or is it a church? Is it a church or just a big?
No, it's a house.
Oh wow, okay.
And so I'm up there working, and all of a sudden, my pressure washer starts going.
Yeah, love that.
And I'm like, oh, shit, what is that? So I go walking back around there, man, and nothing I do is working. I just happened to have a brand new carburetor because I was smart enough to order one a couple of weeks ago, right? Smart. I was like, well, shit, let me run to the house because it's only 2 blocks away. So I drive back over here. I put the carburetor back on and everything, fire it up, and it, what? Running great. I was like, problem solved. I would walk away to put my tools up. Yeah. I'm like, shit, man. Dude, that engine is almost 6 years old. It's over 5. And like I said, I've told you, I think last time you were on here, that thing has made me hundreds of thousands of dollars, over 800 to be exact. And I was like, this thing is just worn, slapped the fuck out. It's the bore's out and out of whack. I was like, there's nothing I can do about it. I was like, I'll just use the soft wash rig, right?
Yeah.
I got this big 10 gallon a minute. And so I was like, I drove off, went back over there. I pulled out the soft wash hose, going to town. That 12 volt pump is just singing.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I'm making progress. I'm thinking, yes, I'm going to fly through here. I'm actually moving faster than I thought I would, because I've done it a couple of times now. So I know where I'm at, what's up. And I'm zinging it. And all of a sudden, it looks like it's barely trickling a piss. I'm like, oh, shit.
Just everything just goes wrong.
I went,
that's dude, the thing about washing, man.
I was on the other side of the fucking house when it happened. I had to go running around. I go running around there, and there's bleach just spraying like a water feature in the back of my truck.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh, shit, man. And when I run up to the truck, what do I see? Smoke. And I'm like, oh, shit, because the bleach landed on the batteries. The charge went back into the battery charger and smoked it. And I was like, oh, shit. So I got all that, got everything broken down, busted the hose off, started rinsing everything down. I'm like, thank God it's winter, because otherwise I have to come around the bank that's next door and pull up in between two big houses. And if it would have been growing season, I'd have had a patches probably 20 feet in diameter with burnt
been doing
grass.
That sod work, yeah.
Yeah, I'd have been doing some free sod.
Yeah.
I was like,
and I still need to order another pump, because I still didn't even put my soft wash rig together yet. I mean, it's sitting on a skid. No, a skid's got an actual wooden skid in my garage. So, but I still need to put that together. I can't decide if I want to like build my own ladder rack and like just use like 2x4s, or go with that metal one I have. That metal one I have, it just needs some weld work and it rattles. So I'm kind of like, man, I don't know if I want to kind of slap this thing back on here. It's so heavy and it rattles, like it'll rattle your brains out. I see, like, talk about George Washington, Martha put it in the house. Martha Washington was a hip lady, man. What movie was that? That's what I keep thinking about. Martha Washington was a hip lady, man. I can't remember.
You got me on that one. No, but I had to come back again, dude, to fix, because I opened up the soft wash box, and that pump, the T where it comes out, where it sprays out, where the two pumps come together, the T broke right there. I didn't have another one, and I was like, "Are you fucking? Is it Dazed and Confused?" That's funny, because that was the first movie I thought of. And I thought Dazed and Confused or Friday. Yeah. And but anyway,
I was like a fast Ridgemont High. Like I was like,
yeah. Oh yeah. So I had to go back home again, man. So I come over here. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to change the engine on the pressure washer, because I have a brand new motor on standby.
Smart. That's so smart.
I just gotten it too, and I'm like, okay. So I spend 45 minutes unbolting everything, right? And I lift up I'm pissed at this point, because I should have been done with this job, and now I'm going to have to come back in the morning no matter what. Yeah. And I'm just pissed. I pick up that motor and I swing it like this.
Yeah,
dude, I threw my back out like that.
Okay. Yeah, instant karma there.
Instant. I was in the bed for 4 fucking days, dude. 4 days. I went back over there and finished that job hurting like a motherfucker the next morning. I came back home. I put my ass in bed, and I didn't, except to get up to eat, I didn't get up.
Yeah.
I started to get worried, but thankfully, day before yesterday, I got up out of bed without fucking about crying. I was like, oh, okay, we're on the rebound. We're on the mend.
Yeah. That's how I felt today. Like after I randomly this morning, I just kind of had a random fever and started coughing like crazy out of nowhere. And then after I woke up from another nap, I felt great. But like I told you, like I was telling you in the green room, it's been a month-long battle of just a cough, earache, fever, and just can't shake it. Just can't shake it. I don't know what it is. But I feel like
can't shake that fighting feeling.
Oh, dude, it's been miserable. It's been miserable. Like we was doing that tear out, and it's like already bad enough dealing with drywall dust and all kinds of other stuff when you're on a property. But then you're in someone's house. We're not working for a realtor right now. We're working for people who live there, and they're there, and then they work third shift, so we have to be there at certain times. And I'm coughing, and I can't breathe, and it feels like I'm breathing rocks, and I just can't catch my breath. And Trevor's like, "You good?" I'm like, He's like, "Want to go home?" I said, "I can't afford to go home." So, sorry, dog.
Right. Yeah, I need the money.
Yeah,
and that's the money, honey.
Yeah, man, that's it. Yeah, Andrew, it's been about a month, dude.
And that's the battle when you're on your own and you're the solo guy. You have to be prepared for those times. But the bad thing is some people are very unfortunate, and that time comes when you least expect it and least need it, and you get put on your ass permanently.
I don't do doctors. You need what's it called, insurance for all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. When this happened to me, it's funny because last year I started on live streams talking to Sarah, even talking like Virgil in private and stuff, and Ron. I'm like, I gotta break this. And the bad mistake that I made when I stopped everything at Charleston, I was like, I've got nobody.
Yeah.
If I fuck up, if something happens to me, and I'm in my I'm on the double nickel. If something happens to me,
you're in trouble.
I'm in trouble. I've got a lot of money saved. I got a lot of money in other places, but it ain't gonna last me to my grave in this current lifestyle.
No, especially with current inflation rates.
And I was like, man, it wouldn't be the end of the world, but I would go. Most of all, I'd lose my fucking marbles if I couldn't just go do something on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I
could imagine just like there's sometimes it's nice just to stay home to have like a lot of the winter off, but after you're cooped up for so long, it is miserable.
Yeah, and I was like, and especially with still having a 6-year-old, I couldn't imagine fucking myself up to where I can't teach him to kayak and surf and hike and shit like that, and it's in my head all the time. And just recently, when I started off on that new venture, I'm like, this is what I'm going to take and put it in launch mode. And if I'm either going to go dead fucking broke putting this on launch mode, or it's going to launch like no other shit. And it just, when that happened, that solidified it, man. I was like, I got to find the peoples. I got to find the peoples, man. And I have been. I haven't just nailed anybody down yet.
That's a big, yeah. You got a lot going on, so it's like that's big dog stuff, though. I mean, but I guess all business is the same, just multiplied scales up and down. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, and but that's what I liked about, like I was telling you earlier. Today, it was the day of phone calls. Today was the official kickoff. I couldn't tell you how many fucking calls I took and how many jobs I wrote down in the book. And I was like, and between that and because I'm trying to hold the landscaping off, and oddly enough, that's what's been ringing off the freaking hook.
See, I'm missing about 1,500 mulch spring cleanup flyers. So I don't know. They're somewhere around somewhere, but I can't find them nowhere. So because I wanted to put that fall or spring cleanup mulch with my soft wash, whatever flyer,
right?
And put it in this. I got these little plastic baggies that you drop them in and you hang them on the doors. And it's like, if I can't do it by tomorrow, then I'm just still gonna hang in the certain neighborhood I'm working in. And there's a guy in there who has a big soft wash rig. If he's out and about, I'm gonna stop and talk to him and be like, hey man, I'd like to do some flat work in your neighborhood. I hung some flyers, but just kind of like not checking in, but like if he's out and about, which I don't give a fuck either way, what he says, but like he's already there. He's probably already got it dominant, but there's a bunch of dirty houses and they're they're fairly nice homes. They're your bi-level 1950s bi-level style houses, your middle class people, you know what I mean? That style of house. So like if I see him out and about, I'm gonna stop and talk to him after we get off work tomorrow whenever I'm passing out flyers. But like if not, really don't care either way. But it'd be nice to get to know him because there's a chance that he'd be like, yeah, man, I get a bunch of shit that I'm not gonna do. It's not worth my time. Like you can just tell by looking at someone's rig that I'm not gonna be chasing the same accounts that he's chasing. And that's okay. That's great.
But there's nothing to stop you from doing that, dude.
Right, exactly.
And because it's like we said a few minutes ago, the gift of gab wins everything. If you have the ability to communicate and you do communicate, you're the guy that wins every fucking time. It really doesn't matter. their shit can catch up to you as to the quality of your work and stuff like that. Hey, what's up, man? It can catch up to you and be a detriment if you can't back up what you say. It will catch up to you. But if you can back up what you say you can do, and you have the ability to relay that to people, you'll never have a problem.
Right. Yeah, and just I totally agree with that. He said your wife stole your puppy. We got 2 puppies. Anybody want a puppy? Can't get rid of them.
Yeah, he'll mail it to you.
I'll mail it to you. I'll meet you halfway somewhere if you're within.
Oh, dude! Speaking of that, when my shit broke, when the 12 volt went down, everything still works. That T just broke, and it was what happened is the last freeze we had. It was just one night, like 3 or 4 days ago. Well, about 8 days actually. About 3 or 4 days before I went to wash, and I forgot to drain the equipment, and so what happened was that T froze. And it probably had a hairline in it that I didn't notice until it was too late. And but I was like, you know what? This is it. I was like, I'm ordering a whole damn system, brand new system. Fuck everything. So I went and I ponied up. I've got Southeast Soft Wash Super Pump on the way.
Hey, there you go.
The 10 gallon I got, the Renco. It still works perfectly good, but it was just, I was like, I should be reading some cards right here, just let's go ahead. It's been loaded. It's been like blasted with bleach. Let's go ahead and put this as a backup, and let's bring in a big, because that thing will shoot 7 stories, dude.
Yeah, the Juggernaut was talking about getting an 8 gallon a minute machine. He was asking me about it today. And I'm like, dude, I have because he does a lot of flat work. I said, dude, like if you want to carry a buffer tank and all that, and he's like, well, no, because he had a company trying to, how it is. And I'm like, dude, just stick with the 4 for what you do, But if you want, you can get the big fancy, 8 gallon a minute, carry a big buffer tank. I said, but what are you gonna do with your, you'll have to have 2 rigs. Yeah. You got your mower and your camper, and like.
He could go up to a 6 gallon a minute without any problems, but anything above that, it would be lost because he'd have to have a big ass buffer tank.
Yeah, and that's what I told him. I said, just stick with the 4, or I didn't even think about a 6. I was like, stick with your 4 gallon minute, like just in case you can still run off someone's house. You don't need you don't need to have a pump in between, nothing like that, because your house I think kicks out like on the average of 5.5 gallons a minute from a regular garden hose, something like that.
Between 5.5 and 7 gallons a minute. For most people.
Yeah. And last thing you want to do. I worked for a guy years and years and years ago, and I had to keep stopping every whatever because he had a well or something to where it would run it. It took forever to fill.
You run it dry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So and
I run into that sometimes out here when I go out to farms and do some stuff, and I'll get about 20 minutes worth of good work in, and all of a sudden it'll dry up, and you got to sit there. It'll come right back in like 3 to 5 minutes. It doesn't take long, but you got to stop and wait. Yeah, it's like waiting on the buffer tank to load back up. But, matter of fact, Juggernaut texted me a few weeks ago. He's like, "Hey man, he wanted to ask me some stuff, and then he was gone." I was like, he's busy. If it's pertinent, he'll get back.
I bet it was about that because he's running a hot water tank right now on casters, and like they might just go ahead and send him one. And it's a 4 gallon a minute hot water tank, a hot water machine. I was like, that's a heavy piece of equipment to be hauling for flat work. I said, but if you just leave it in the bed of your truck, you're great. I said, but that's good for gas stations. I said, but he's kind of just in the market, kind of looking for different things. You know how it is.
Yeah, he's not going to help him.
Yeah, it's like exactly. He don't use the heat, and he's just like, but it got sent to him, and and I was like, hey, I totally get it. I said, if I was you, I'd try to have them send you one with casters that turn, and because they got a new model out, or I don't even know the brand. Yeah. But like, I was like, that's just a lot. I said, and think of the weight that you're putting on your vehicle. I said, you cannot go wrong with them Simpson 4 gallon a minute machines, and that's what he was kind of.
No, you can't. They don't die, dude. They don't die.
No, they're awesome. And the thing is, I want for $1,000, like, and you can go to Lowe's or was it Lowe's or Home Depot? One of the other.
Home Depot.
Yeah, and they have them on deck all the time. They got everything you need. Yeah, you're only going to get a 50 foot hose. You're going to get a Simpson hose, 50 foot. It's going to be expensive, But like you can get all that shit on Amazon. I got a little list on Amazon. I need to get a new whip line because whenever I tested my machine the other day, I was going to send a video about Ranger because he said I got to see it running. That's when I found out my unloader's bad because every time you release the handle, my machine was dying.
Right.
But my whip line was like all over the place, and I'm just like, oh my, it's just something else. Then the linkage is bad to where you can't throttle up or down, so it's balls to the wall, which is I'd almost rather deal with that than What do you want?
Oh yeah.
No. Oh, mom's wanting you. Mom's yelling for you. He's driving me nuts, son.
Damn kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always trial and error this time of year. I tried to get ahead of the curve. Like I said, when I was replacing a couple of things here and there before the season got really cranked up, but it all of a sudden then it started out of nowhere. It was like, I mean, dude, I'm booked into May as far as pressure washing.
Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. I've got no one on my books right now, and but I'm about to start slamming. I almost tried to build. I got all my valves and stuff out. I got 2 nice GF valves, and I was going to try and build a blend manifold. And you know what? For what I do, batch running, I got them 55-gallon drums, and I keep about 20 gallons of fresh water and about 15-20 gallons of batch, or whatever I got going for the day. Dude, batch mixing for me is not bad.
It's not bad at all.
Half the time I'll take like my wash line, and I won't even I'll take my dipstick over later on through the day to rinse my whole system out. But a lot of times I'll just take the garden hose and add an extra of the 0G whatever and just run around and just wash everything. You know what I mean? Like there's just different ways of just running 2 hoses. You're driving me nuts, dude.
You're driving me nuts, motherfucker. All right, Benji, have a good one, man.
There.
Yeah, it's and it's going to be quite interesting adding the landscaping back in this year, man. Like,
you excited about that? I mean, because that's obviously your bread and butter. That's where you're.
I'm as excited as I can be without having found a couple people to do the work yet.
Are you going to do landscaping as in water features? Or are you going to do landscaping?
No, I'm not.
Big designs?
I mean, it's nothing new. If the right person inquires about a water feature,
water features you were building 5 years ago or whatever, dude, those things were fucking badass. Like,
no, I did. I actually the last job I ever did was 2 years ago, and it was a water feature. That was the last thing I ever did. And I might do some if I find the right people. I will, because I'm not picking those fucking rocks up anymore. Fuck that shit.
I can see you taking your boy and be like, hey, get down that water bank or get river bank there at creek bed and dig out all them boulders.
Rocks at the 6-year-old. Here, catch. And it's I'm trying to avoid it for now, though. I guess that's the big thing, because I want some what I consider basic stuff, so that it's I want to find the right person so that I can train them properly.
Yeah.
And where the big training is going to come in is I've got a bunch of mulch jobs lined up and some simple things like planting just like perennials and things, nothing complex. But hopefully by the beginning of May, we can start on my yard because the painters will have finished. I hope.
Right.
And that's my deadline for finding at least one person, but I'm out to find 2 because I'm going to train them in my yard from go. We're going to landscape my whole fucking yard. It's going to probably take about 2-3 weeks, maybe a little bit longer. Yeah. And by the time my yard's finished, they should be on. There shouldn't be a damn thing they don't know. And because I've got 2 landscape jobs that are for later after June, because they're willing to wait. What's up, Virgil? Until I get my guys trained up and send them out there.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I'm sure you got a little black book of plenty of landscapers that you've known through the years. Well, you're in a different.
Dude, I don't know anybody up here. I don't know.
I keep forgetting you're in a different area. So you've lost the luxury of. Yeah, I keep forgetting that. Yeah, you're in a shitty situation too. That's awesome.
I'm throwing myself out there, dude. I might as well be a rookie because Now, as far as customers are concerned, I have acquired a good bit of work because I'm cross-selling. But like today, I got a lady that called. She wants her whole front yard redone. And somebody else called me today, and they want landscape lighting. She wants to detail the existing landscaping, which means a lot of perennials and flowers and shit like that. And both of those jobs were secured today for a pretty decent chunk of money, especially that lighting job. So,
what do you think
that's on top of the other two. So that's 4 jobs that are lined up, ready to go.
Yeah, you can't beat that. What happens if so now that like the bushes and stuff are starting to bud and like different, like, I don't know, whatever kind, your average middle class bushes, not just your Texas shoes, but your burning bush, whatever. How aggressive can you take those back when they start budding and stuff? Like, can you still aggressively cut them down, or you still got to wait for winter?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean, it's best to wait. It's best to wait till the growth stops or slows. But
right.
I mean, if it's something that has to be done.
Yeah, because they're really big and overgrown. That's a job that I'm kind of like, someone's been asking about, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna like, you know how it is. You know, when you're talking to somebody and they want the work done, but they're just like, But yeah, that's what I told him. I told him we would take these back aggressively, but I wasn't 100% sure.
No, especially if you're doing corrective stuff like that, you might as well do it now. I mean, doing it right now is no different than doing it in fall, because they'll have time to recover, and they won't even know anything happened by the time June rolls around.
I seen Andrew asked about them tariffs. I don't know enough about the tariffs. I know Trump's renaming the Gulf of this. We should name it the Gulf of Israel. That's what I think. We got all our Republican congressmen on AIPAC, and everybody hates Thomas Massey. But you know one good thing about Thomas Massey, who's my congressman? He doesn't take any Israeli money. That's what I think. If Trump goes, why don't we rename it the island or the Gulf of Israel? Why don't we rename that now? That's what I think.
I think with the tariffs, I think he's doing the right thing. And the funny thing is I see my liberal associates and those that I don't know
losing their people nowadays. It's crazy.
Losing their fucking minds over these tariffs, saying, "Oh, the stock market's crashing." Look, before Trump when he first started running again, he said this is what would happen. You cannot go through some pain before you start to grow. Right.
And that's
it gets a little worse before it gets better.
Like half of this continuing resolution, like going back to Thomas Massey again, half this continuing resolution is like just kicking the can down the road. Why don't we have an actual like all this Doge shit is like it's releasing the same thing. All we keep hearing about is stuff that like owns the libs. Like we're not going to feel any pain until the Defense Department starts feeling some pain. But we turn around, we want to add another $12 billion to the Defense Department, cut $12 billion from the domestic spending. It's like, how about we stop sending Israel and Ukraine shit tons of money and all over the world are having 88 bases all over? I think the defense budget could get cut a little bit. And I think instead of having social welfare, I think we should bump our social welfare for our people, actually have it checked, and stop having social welfare for banks and big farmers and all them other guys. Because that's where the major social welfare problems is in the fucking banks.
I think, well, it's because they rob the system, man. It's just like in the federal money. It's the liberals. That's where the liberals get their money, is because they come up with all these frivolous grants and stuff. I think the flow should just, unless you have a mental or physical disability that 100% prevents you from working, you need to carry your ass out there. Yeah, sorry, time to go.
I totally agree. And all this could be checked. Like, if you need help, there should be no reason why it's like, hey, man, you lost your job. This, and this. We're going to put you on a 6-week this, and we're putting these jobs programs. There's no reason that, like, if we're going to have crony capitalism, how about we have the government work with capitalist businesses who need workers that, like, actually go through the incentive programs, or like, look at the dude that had the treehouse in LA and he had to take it down, or he was going to go to dude, it's like the guy can't have a fucking treehouse. That's not communism. That's Fabian socialist. There's a big difference. Like it's psychotic shit is what it is. It's psycho stuff. Like can't have a treehouse. Got to tear it down. Have to, or you're going to go to jail. Meanwhile, you got all of LA is a shithole, or even downtown Austin now. Well, look at the reporter that just got killed the other day for worked for Alex Jones. It's like anywhere these liberal fuckheads go to, it's just.
Well, that's the thing about them. I mean, here's the thing. It's like I was saying a minute ago. Their big thing to post on Facebook right now is look at the stock market. Look how it's crashed. Nobody now. It hadn't crashed.
No,
it hadn't. It's tinkered down. It was worse than this twice post COVID with Biden. Did you hear them talk about their stocks losing? No, you didn't hear shit.
No.
That and all this. It just this shit with them protesting at the colleges and stuff. This is where we all fucked up. Is that we can't beat some dumbasses in the ground, and people that talk shit should get their fucking mouth smacked without any repercussions from the fucking law or some goddamn attorney.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, because these fuckers come up there, they can talk all the shit they want, but the minute we say something back, we're racist, we're homophobic, we're whatever, it just pisses me the fuck off. But they can go up there and they talk about January the 6th. The one day that the Capitol gets stormed, they spent the past fucking 8 years trying to burn America down or break into the buildings and hold everything fucking hostage. Yeah. What's worse, one day of storming the Capitol building or fucking 6 to 8 years of them fucking trying to destroy
storming the building? Meanwhile, it's all feds and they're busting windows. It's all feds pushing an entire crowd. How easy is it to push a crowd around that's already amped up? Who already knows the election's getting stolen. So if you have a bunch of feds in here who look like prominent dudes who are just herding cattle, dude, just herding cattle. And that's our demise. That's like, we need a Centenius or remember that Roman dude that had to get called in. You know what I mean? It's like, it almost feels like the Trump, but then the Trump almost feels like I don't know. I haven't read any Roman shit in a long time, but if you look at it, it just aligns. It just lines right up. We're at the fall of the Republic. No. We don't have to, don't have to. You had someone great, like a early Bernie Sanders versus after Hillary sat down with Bernie Sanders, two totally different people. Look at that. Bernie used to be a bad motherfucker. Like that's when the Tea Party and the left wing and the right wing used to sit and be like, yeah, the banks are taking over. We need to stop the repeal of the Glass-Steagall Act, go back in and actually having Wall Street get monitored and
Well, that's when we had we had people in the center on both sides that were fighting. It was what I call the common sense people. They were the people that understood that there's two different parties trying to get to the same place, just in two different ways. Now it's not.
Yeah, and then they started distracting everybody with transgender bathrooms. And that was so easy for us to get manipulated. Then we get released with all the Vine or all these stupid apps that makes everybody's dumb. And it's like, I'm bad about it because I don't even pay attention half the time. And it's like, why? Because nothing fucking changes. Nothing matters. The system is so bad. Help me.
It's fucked up. But I think to circle back to the tariffs, I think they're going to be worth doing because they're reciprocal. He's just doing what they're doing. And everybody's mad about it.
I used to be anti-tariffs because I used to not like protectionism. This is 2008, 2010. But now I look at it like, no, if anybody's going to be protected, it's going to be us. So yeah, I fully agree. But I used to be that, it's gotta be free market. Gotta be this. I bought into all that right-wing bullshit. I bought into it for years and years and years, but now it's just like, no, yeah, we need to have the tariffs. Fuck everybody else. Like, no.
Well, the funny thing is tariffs were how the federal government paid for itself up until fucking income taxes showed up.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. 100% correct. Yeah. And then Canada's looking at, the 51st state is trying to act like whatever. And it's like, Canada just elected their new prime minister who's legit a central banker. So it's like, they ain't doing nothing different. If anybody's a hand-picked puppet, it's that dude. It's like, if you look at a picture of him, it looks like an AI generated
yeah, he does. He's very sterile looking.
Dude, it's so Mike Pence looking
that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
It's just look at that. Because they're scared of populism. Populism is scary. But you know what? It needs to shake. What Thomas Jefferson, the blood of papers need to feed the tree of liberty, and it just you can't keep going along, getting along. Can't keep going along.
Cruz, what's up?
I ain't seen him in a minute. What up, big
No,
guy?
it's been a few weeks since he's been in here. A little bit longer than that, probably. But it just, I laugh because my Facebook feed now, when I see these fuckers going off about it, I just laugh because I'm like, and the funny thing is if I even just like squeak something out on Facebook, not even say anything, just like a meme or something that's a small jab, they would come in and just by the hundreds and just attack me and shit. And I was like, you bunch of pussies. I was like, because you've known me for 50 fucking years. You wouldn't say that shit to my fucking face. You wouldn't. Nope. But you're going to say it here on social media thinking you're something now. But you go ahead. But now that Trump is in office and just putting the hammer down, dude, these fuckers that choked me because I said something every 6 to 8 months, they're saying something every 6 to 8 fucking minutes, man. Well, and
they can't catch up. That's what I think is great with. You can tell that. Excuse me. You can tell that President Trump has took that 4 years off and said, "Okay, I'm going to plan." Because you can't get this agenda passed. The only thing I'm really pissed about, a few things that he hasn't released. With the JFK files, the Epstein files, and
that's not up to him though.
Right. Well, that's what they, who knows? But, that's one thing that got him elected with the normal populace, but it doesn't matter. You can tell that he had an agenda going in. Yeah. And there's no other way you can get this shit done. And he's going through and kicking ass. But I just hope Doge keeps doing what they're doing, but not just giving us look, they had a gay frog thing in Brazil. It's like, okay, right. I'm getting tired of these stories. How about we go after the defense budget? How about we see what the Pentagon's been? Because all them gay frog things and all the transgender or whatever, none of that's real. Or the $300 hammers and the $400 gold toilet seats. None of that's real. That's just a way for them to steal money. That's just creating a fake invoice. You know what I mean? And it's going to be so absurd.
That's all it is.
That's all it is. It's just a way for them to steal money. So it's like, how about we take that, trace the paper trail, and put the fucking goddamn evil politicians and the pedophiles, and I view them the same way. Put them guys in prison because if you make a mistake out here in the world, you're January 6th. You go and visit the Capitol on a random day. If you were just there recording yourself, chances are you're in prison right now.
Yeah, or you were.
Yeah, that's insane to me. But they got literally people stealing money, and it's okay. It's good to go.
Well, that's the other thing with all this stuff. Elon is in there cleaning fucking house, dude. He has rattled the fucking cages. Yeah. And you've got all these fucking left extremist fucking whack jobs burning down Tesla. Again, it's like January. These are all the same fuckers. January 6th, January 6th, January 6th. It was 4 hours out of a fucking day. They're the ones running the streets, burning down fucking Tesla chargers and people's personal fucking property. That has a Tesla badge on it.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, it's sad.
I was on my way home today. I was listening to more of it happening again today. And I was like, if we just bought Sarah a brand new fucking car. And I'm like, it's a small sports car. So I was like, if we did not need my personal vehicle, which is an Armada to travel with, I would be at the Tesla dealership or online right after this show ordering me a fucking Tesla.
Yeah, they're dope. I like Teslas.
Because they are dope. But the thing is that we don't see that shit around here. Not around here because people have guns. But if I did see it, let me tell you something. I would get out and I would beat the fucking shit out of them. I would club the fuck out of them until they were smeared across the fucking intersection. I wouldn't tolerate it I would be on the fucking news and I would have Elon Musk at my door applauding me. Yeah. Because I'd film myself.
They tried this years ago when the Black Lives Matter movement first kind of got kicked in. They tried to have a few middle of the country, but it didn't go nowhere. And it's not going to happen because what is that stupid Jason Aldean song? And try that as false. That's real. And then, you know, it is what it is. Like, just because, like, most rednecks aren't super duper pro cop, but it's like, I'll be goddamned if you come in and start, you know, fucking, you know, it's just, it is what it is.
But
like,
they're pro personal property if they're anything. Fuck around and find out.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Yeah, 100%.
It pisses me off. That's every one of these fuckers. That's what they need. And there's some of them on the right that need it too, but they need their fucking, if somebody to walk up and just beat the shit out of them because of the stupid shit they're doing, or their daddies would have beat their ass, they wouldn't be doing this shit. They're doing it because there's no repercussions. They think there's not, I should say. But there's going to come a time when there's a tipping point, because right now nobody feels threatened by them because they get a lot of media attention, but it might be 0.1% of the population, you know, but they're causing a lot of destruction. If it gains, and it'll probably fizzle, but if it gains, you know, some people, you're going to see some ass whoopings. I guarantee it.
Oh, I 100% agree. And then that goes back to like, just like living downtown LA, you can have these homeless camps all you want, but you can't have a fucking treehouse. And that's what these leftists are worried about. Or if you say, hey, I think Ukraine war, I think that them guys, they're not.
Hold on, don't you think it's rather funny that the group, the hipsters that kind of started the tiny home community and movement, they're offended by a treehouse? Don't you find that ironic?
All of it's insane. Yeah, it's crazy. They forced this dude.
The very people that loved fucking electric cars now fucking want to burn it all to the ground. How ironic.
Yeah, it's just like they don't have any true principles. They just take marching orders, and none of it makes any sense. And it's not supposed to make sense. It's supposed to be upside down, right side.
It's just chaos.
Yeah, it's supposed to shock, confuse, and all, because it's supposed to make us feel like there's nothing we can do. It's supposed to make us throw our hands up, and so these guys can keep getting their way. They've had it done. They've gotten their way for so long, and for now, like, we have finally stepped up and said, yeah, no, I don't fucking think so. That was that MAGA revolution.
Right, and that's what Trump stands for. Nah, it ain't happening no more.
Right, and that's why I still like a Thomas Massey who says, like, look, man, my constituents told me to do. We're not just going to pass this continuing resolution, which Trump's going to get it passed anyway. But him and Massey's been going back and forth since 2018, 2020. So they've been going back and forth for a long time because Thomas Massey was staying on business, and that's my congressman. And like, I did a little short today saying, like, dude, I'll rock with you, Thomas Massey. And I said in a little open letter, like, it's a little short 40-second video, like, hey, President Trump, you don't get to dictate our congressman. So Thomas Massey's done great by us. So until he doesn't, you know, it's one guy. But like, so I like seeing Trump get checked too, and he needs it.
Well,
you know,
and what I like about it is Trump respects it.
Yeah, he acts like he don't, but you can tell he does. Yeah, 100%.
Oh yeah, because that's what he lives for, dude. That's what he lives for.
Yeah, he
likes the people that has the balls to say something back.
I seen a video a while back of Thomas Massey talking about, like, he had 3 calls from Trump and he was scared to answer because, like, this is in 2020 during the COVID or 2019 during the COVID thing that Trump got passed, and then Biden took all the credit for whatever. I don't think it should have been passed anyway, but Thomas Massey said, I'm not going to answer that. And then someone came to him at wherever he was at and said, here's the phone. So that's the kind of power. Trump's got fucking stupid power. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I think that was 2019. And the thing, and he's not afraid to be boisterous about it. And I like that. I love it. Yeah, it's just like today they asked him, some reporter asked him what other further tariffs that he was going to, or subcategories in other countries that he was going to start enacting in the next 2 to 3 weeks. He looked him dead-eyed and said, that would be stupid to tell you.
100%.
I was like, yes, he used the word stupid and all. Thank you.
I wish Trump had annexed Mexico. That's what I've always said. Like, annex Mexico so we can open it up, not worry about anything, have vacation destinations, make it commercialized, get rid of the cartels.
And even, you know, and even if he doesn't have the tariffs exactly right, it still needs to be done. We got to put the world in fucking check because oh God, but we've been hacked. We got hacked, dude. We got hacked.
I see that.
And what's up, Floaty? Pokey? You can come up if you want to, dummy. And
it's show.
But I think by the time, say, July rolls around, I think a lot of as long as Trump or some Republican doesn't do something fucking stupid, I think the libs and the extreme left will have run out of gas.
Well, like look at Gavin Newsom. Look at Gavin Newsom already changing. He's got Charlie Kirk on there. He's actually talking about like, look, we can't just see like what is a big joke. What is a woman? What's someone? And like you got Charlie Kirk saying no.
Yeah, Tucker Carlson too.
Yeah, So Gavin's already changing. So you can tell the left is already moving to the center right, which most Americans are at the center right because most Americans still have a conservative Christian background. They might not be conservative Christians, but that's how they live their life. Or that's how
because they have simple morals. They don't need to be a Christian to have those morals.
Exactly, 100% agree. And so, like, you see the left have just gotten so far upside down, and then they realize, like, okay, the populace through populism, through Steve Bannon, which I love Steve Bannon, love him. Everybody's like, he's a radical psych. And I used to be anti-Trump, anti-Bannon, all of them guys. Dude, I'm telling you, I'm
kind of ad with Bannon.
Yeah, I love him. I love it. He was on Tim Dillon's podcast the other day. Awesome. Tim Dillon's like my favorite gay creator ever. I think he's a closeted gay dude. I don't even think he's really gay. I think he's just kind of faking it. But like, dude, like he was on Tim Dillon's show the other day, and like Steve Bannon's like he just went to prison for no reason. Dinesh D'Souza goes to prison for donating $2,800. But no, it's okay if you donate millions of dollars to the right party. Or look at Tucker just interviewed Sam Bankman-Fried, and it's like, but like you look at every other shit coin out there. I'm not talking about your Bitcoin maxis or some of your Ethereum or whatever you build your platform on. I don't really give a fuck. But the thing is, there's a lot of stupid people out here who hear cryptocurrency and they're getting taken to
left and right.
Bro, it's bad. But it's like, we got to take out Sam Bankman-Fried. Yeah, he's a bad dude. He did some bad stuff. But it's like, how many other Wall Street billionaires lived that kind of life? They're insider trading. Well, it's like, you follow Nancy Pelosi's stock trader and you're going to do great. You know what I mean? So it's like, tit for tat,
I'm going to start a coin. You go, Carlo. I'm going to buy it.
A lawn care coin. And yeah, exactly. I'm going to start a coin. Once it goes, I'm a rug pull that joker. And that's what everybody does. That's why I think it's great that we have these guys out here. CoffeeZilla. CoffeeZilla is like our modern day Batman, bro. Like he's out here pulling these dudes to task.
And I think that's what Trump really ignited more than anything is the fact that it gives people,
drag that.
How do I put it? It gives them the gumption to just start calling shit out, man, with nothing to spare, no matter what party you're in. Because like you said, dude, when it comes to Wall Street and stuff, they're all over there, all tangled up. That's why Trump is having a problem. It's like a very fine line to get things passed and stuff. It's not only because the left is going to say no matter what. It's because there's people on the right that are like, they're going to fight some ways because it's like, okay, I'm going to get exposed.
Yeah.
And it's a problem.
Look at all the steel we buy from China, and even Japan makes great steel nowadays.
And Canada.
Like there's a furnace. There's two major furnaces that just got torn down here in Ashland, Kentucky that like, you just can't build these furnaces anymore. That like will make your stainless and makes your different kinds of steel. But like that was at AK Steel. They did the same thing through half the plant where they used to roll the steel. They got rid of the hot mill 1 and 2. This is AK Steel, Mansfield, Ohio, and AK Steel here in Ashland, Kentucky. But like, why? They're literally bulldozing it down, or GM or the GM factories, and it's like because it's cheaper for NAFTA and because we had such free trade that we never had any protectionist policies for working class people. And the thing is, like, I hate to say it, but like the unions fuck themselves. But then it's like,
heavily.
The thing is, you're gonna have dick union, you're gonna have worthless unions. But then turns around, you realize that let capitalism run amok, true capitalism, and it will naturally go to a free market thing to get the lowest dollar and maximize your dollar. That's normal. But in a world you want your society to build, you have to have like your tariffs, or you have to have some sort of protectionist policies. That's how you protect it. But you can't just have your bosses making 4,000% more than your average working class guy. Like you see that index graph from the 1950s through 2010, the shot of the CEO money versus, you know what I mean? It's like, how did that happen? It's look at Boeing. Look at what Boeing's going through, or like all these guys. And it's like, yeah, that quick dollar, you saved all that money. Now look at you. You know what I mean?
Yep. There's no. You got that, and then you got people that went from $7 an hour for a part-time job that won't do shit for under $18 an hour now, and it's like, you think shit's not going to get expensive. The problem is that the top, that where we're talking about, all these people making all this money. Here's the deal: we're never going to stop that. The train is going, especially with the stock markets, because they're going to satisfy their shareholders. And the thing is if you look at the stock market and look what it did from its inception over 100 years ago to now, up until the 90s, it barely ticked forward. It was a long game.
Yeah.
And now, if there's not major gains every year, people get fucking shitting.
Oh, it's like, dude. Yeah, if it doesn't go up 12%, if you follow the NASDAQ and if you don't follow the NASDAQ and it goes up like 9% or 8%.
And we're doing it. We're the ones, the shareholders, that are bitching about it. And then we bitch about them pulling the money in. You can't have it both fucking ways.
No, you can't have it. Look at General Smedley's book called War is a Racket. This came out in, I don't know, after World War II. And this General Smedley dude, if you look at his background and the FDR people and the radical right-wing people, we had a bunch of fascist and communist movements in America. We came through FDR when he wasn't super right-wing at all. FDR done a lot of good things, whatever. And but anyway, just look, if anybody gets a chance, look up General Smedley, dude, like in his book War is a Racket. And then that's where we also get the term from Dwight Eisenhower of whatever his last speech was, that the military industrial complex. Why does that matter? It's like, well, look at where we're at now. We got our defense budget. Even President Trump's wrapped up in it. And I don't even think I think once he has time to reflect, after he just got a continuing resolution passed saying, like, why aren't we having another 12 billion going to the defense? What the fuck are they doing? And then that's where all that money gets kicked up and dished around. We got 80 something bases all over the world. But we're like, we want to cancel 9 billion or 6 billion for domestic spending. It's like, why can't normal Americans get a kickback, whether it's tax breaks, whether it's new fucking parks, whether it's no taxes on different business owners who want to come in and build factories? I don't know. However they want to do it. But I know
those tax breaks are coming though. Those are coming by next week. They're coming for a vote.
Right. But that's supposed to. And that's just the same thing with I hate to see the defense.
Now, politically, Trump probably should have dished those out first to stop rattling all these chatter mouths. It's six of one, half a dozen of another.
Yeah. Well, it's just like the Pentagon never gets hurt, and that's who we work for: Wall Street and the Pentagon. No matter what, if you look at everything that's happened in the past 40 years, who succeeds? Wall Street and the Pentagon. Yep. And they will always find a war. And just like all the Christians that's getting slaughtered in Syria, we said, if you take out I can't remember, Bashar al-Assad, we said this years ago when Barack Obama was in 2000, this is like 2010, he wanted to go into Syria. And the whole American populace stood up on Facebook at the time, said no. And he listened.
Yep.
Crazy. And the thing is, now we got Bashar al-Assad out of there. Look what happens. Al-Qaeda's back, and those jihadists are killing Christians. I think Syria is one of the birthplaces of all Christendom. Like, everybody thinks like Christianity is like Western.
But here's the thing. We need, and it's just where we started, between anything in the Middle East, Israel, Palestine, Ukraine, Russia, get the fuck out. I don't give a fuck about them.
Right. Israel's not the same since the temple fell. Israel's not and they literally, if we were held to the same standard Israel was, and we could have never lost a war because they literally just genocided all of Palestine. Israel's not Israel as in the Jewish people. That hasn't happened since 70 AD. Since 70 AD, they haven't had a temple. That's why the Jesus revolution was so powerful. That's how Christianity changed the world.
No, but what's powerful is you look at this. Look how many. And this is nothing against the Jewish person themselves. It is the religion and the governance of said religion and region.
Right.
How many wars has the Jewish religion and governance gotten the world into?
Since Benjamin Netanyahu's been around for about 25 years.
Every fucking one of them except for Vietnam.
100% correct. Yeah. And Benjamin Netanyahu is at the thing on every one of them. And it's like, why couldn't we go if Iraq and I don't even know why we was in Iraq, but like if Afghanistan is so bad, like we had these rules of engagement to where our men in uniform, they fucked up, but it's hard to send a bunch of young 18-year-old men, give them all the power, tell these people that they're under occupation. And then some men, whatever. I don't make excuses for it. And I think those men that were held up like Guantanamo, they should have never treated those prisoners that way. But like, look at all of Palestine right now. Literally, there's no hospitals there. There's no schools. There's nothing there.
There's
nothing. And the thing is, everybody's like, well, they had the chance. They could fight back and protect themselves. Like, there's a fucking difference. And the thing is, like, Benjamin Netanyahu produced the Hamas. There's a book called The Green Prince, the son of Hamas or whatever. I can't remember. I got it somewhere around here. But like Hamas has been promoted by Benjamin Netanyahu and the IDF. And it's like, just like the IDF, dude, there's a lot of bullshit that goes behind it. But like, you don't hear about it because you have the all the money that gets funded through our AIPAC, through
us.
And to the modern evangelical movement. Through the modern evangelical movement, you got these people like, oh, we got to protect Israel. And so like, man, like,
we ain't got to do shit.
We ain't got to do nothing because you look around.
And the thing is if Israel is such a badass, I would say, no, fuck it. Let's just say we don't. Just back out of all of it. And especially the Middle East and Northern Africa.
I agree. 100%.
It's like, let them fucking hash it out.
Yep.
Make sure no nuclear fucking weapons, go in there and dismantle that shit or whatever you got to do.
When the Ottoman Empire got taken out,
because only thing they're never going to stop until there's mass devastation in that region. And there's one clear winner.
I 100% agree. And the thing is, the Ottoman Empire kept that in check for 800 years up until World War I. The Ottoman Empire was an old empire. They didn't allow your radical, whatever. But like, obviously, your Ottoman Empire would cut your fucking head off too, but they kind of slowed down. After the fall of the Ottoman Empire, you had Sykes-Picot come in there and they're just dividing these lines up. These tribes were warring tribes forever. And then all of a sudden you're telling them, nope, that's not your land anymore. We draw this arbitrary line on the map. Yeah. We're talking 1913. Everybody's been acting like this has been going on for thousands of years. No, Sykes-Picot agreement is what got a lot of this shit started. And then Israel just went ahead and said, we got a modern evangelical movement. If we just kind of blend it around, pretend that we're the Jewish people from the Bible, which you're not since 70 AD. You don't have a temple. You can't sacrifice. There's a big difference between, Hebrews or your Zionist movement. Your Zionist movement came in. And
Zionist is your problem.
Yeah, 100% agree. 100%. It's crazy.
But I literally think that we should go into that region, as we've already done 100 times, do it one last time. Go in there and send our forces in as referees. You go in there and you check everybody's lockers for nuclear weapons. Get rid of as what you can as best you can. And you say, when this plane takes off, you got 365 days to see who the fuck lives. Bye.
Yeah, I agree. Let them find it out. Just like
let them fucking find it out.
President Washington said, like, we're not going to go looking in Europe, looking for foreign monsters. That's all we're doing. We're fighting European wars, and that's all it's ever been. It's all been about
fighting it for them.
Fighting it for them, yeah. Fighting it for them. And it's like, hey, you sit back and
it's just And with Ukraine, I think we should go in there. And it looks like it seems from what I've heard today, it's going to happen we should go in there because all the fucking money we sent them, we should own that fucking joint. Yeah, and that settles that right there. Fuck you,
Yeah, there's got to be some sort of there's got to be some sort of peace treaty or something because and who the hell does he think he is getting loud with the president in the Oval Office? Like,
he got smacked around like a bitch, man.
And it's like these guys have been coming over here for so long. What is like, well, we should have never gotten to their that's why America in the 1940s used to be an isolationist country. We would just work on our agriculture, work on our manufacturing, our steel. We'd impose our tariffs. We do this, we do that. We build our cars. And it's like, why was America a better place then? Because we didn't have 90 different bases all over the world. Like, I don't know. Well, I mean, you look at the empire, the world totally changed after World War II, obviously. So it's like, what's the right move? Don't know the right move. But I don't think putting a base on every country.
But that's just it, is the fact that America never said exactly what you said. What's the next move? We don't know, but we'll sit out here and we'll throw our tentacles into everything. Nope. They should have recollected just like and going back to protecting our fucking boundaries. And fuck everything else. Fuck everybody. And if Japan wants to try to fly across the Pacific Ocean again, we're just gonna fucking take you out. There's not gonna be a war. We're just gonna take you the fuck out like a bunch of hornets on a fucking asshole. It's gonna be taken care of in a matter of minutes.
And hopefully there isn't a training session going on that day that allows planes to just fly through.
Right.
Just like in 2001. It was a training mission. No, I didn't know it was happening. I don't know. That's just me being conspiratorial, though.
It's all ridiculous, and I think we'll get a good handle on it very soon, thankfully. And it's just like another thing that trips me out is, to go out to Canada for a second, is this flex that everybody over thinking, oh, fuck you, Trump. Well, we're going to take all the American liquor off the shelves. It's like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
You already paid for it, you dumbass.
Yeah. But you look at any of their populist movement, like if you listen to anybody on Facebook, like the people rock with America. Like they know what it is. The people, just like all the trucker shit going on. It's like them guys know who where tyranny is. And it's
I can promise you, I can guarantee you 100% behind the scenes, even the government officials that are acting like they're anti-Trump in Canada are behind the scenes hardcore kissing his ass.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. They're like, hey, yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Oh no. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're such fucking, they want to act like big dicks and they ain't even got one. It's ridiculous. And it's funny in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd like to see them get annexed and be able to go up and hunt them big Canadian elk, them go all the way up to the Rockies. Annex it all. That's what I say. Fucking annex Mexico, annex Canada. Fucking take it all. We're gonna be an empire. Let's do it right. That's what I say.
Yeah, it's gonna have to come back to that. America is going to be seen as a fucking mega empire, and it's either that or we go to shit.
Or keep fighting these little tiny battles or occupying these tiny little countries that don't matter. It's like, just like when Vietnam started, it's like, why are we there? Or it's like how they was conscripting people. Look at the conscription that's going on in Ukraine. They're literally pulling people out of fucking vehicles while you're driving. If you're a young man driving somewhere in Ukraine, and if a military officer or a police officer, the military and the police,
they would drag you out.
They would get dragged out. Now that never happened in the 60s here, but like to force to go fight for Wall Street and banks and all that, like that had no benefit. Vietnam had no benefit. The thing is, what sucks is that the men that went and fought and died there, because it makes it sound like their lives were fought for nothing, but it wasn't. They just got taken advantage of.
And that was the most bizarre thing ever. And I think any war that we have in post World War II, even the Korean War, has been absolute bullshit because we have the ability to blow every other country, with the exception of maybe Russia. Any other country, we can blow them off the map without nuclear weapons in 24 hours.
Yeah.
So what are we fighting?
Yeah, we don't need bases everywhere. It's like, what would happen if China said, hey, let's put a huge base in Houston We'll put one in Cleveland, Ohio. We'll put one in LA. It's like, no, that would never happen. But why do we think we have that? Because we are an empire. We are Rome. We are Rome. If you don't do what we say, you will have regime change. We will disrupt everything around you. And it just
but we could still do all that without having all these little fucking posture,
skirmish.
Bases.
But you gotta like you said, you gotta let them fight it out, though. That's like where the Ottoman Empire came through. The Ottoman Empire was perfect for that area because they had reigned it for 1,000 years. You know what I mean? They
between the Ottoman Empire and Genghis Khan, man, shit, everything was under control.
Everything was under, like Syria was under control. Like, was Bashar al-Assad, was he a great man? I don't think has Trump killed anybody? Yes. Has President Bush killed anybody? Yes. Just because you might not, Putin killed anybody? Yeah. All leaders are murderers if you look at it through that lens. But you have to do, you know what I mean? You have to do certain things. Like you can twist the lens and be like, oh, wow, they did this and they did, like, you don't know what's there. So you don't know what propaganda is real. Like, just like in 2012, we were talking a couple weeks ago, Barack Obama released that where the CIA can propagate American, that's where we see all the Russian bot farms. Really, that's our CIA propagandizing American citizens. And that's legal now. The CIA can have operations here in America. I can't remember what that thing's called. I
can't either, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we talk about, and it's like, that's crazy. So who knows what's real, what's not real, but all you can do is say, I'm going to focus on my community. I'm going to live and I'm going to go to work. I'm going to go to my church. I'm going to focus on my neighbors and I'm going to live my best life. Because you can't change anybody else, but if you change you and you're an outward reflection of whatever, then that's,
but you just nailed it right there, dude. Every individual person on this planet is trying to change every individual other person on the planet. That's what's fucked up. Nobody, most people out here, like, on the lefty side, they don't want to let other people just live their lives. I don't give a fuck if you're trans. I don't give a fuck if you're gay. I don't give a fuck if you're straight. I don't care if you like goats. When did our bedrooms become the basis of our person?
I don't know.
Dude, do what you do in the fucking bedroom. I don't give two fucking shits. Don't bring it out here.
Yeah, it don't need to be out there. It doesn't need to be out in the open because none of that should matter.
It shouldn't matter at all.
Yeah, what your sexual desires are, your depravities, whatever. I don't care what you want to call it.
And the other thing is if the people on that side of the world, gay or whatever is in the acronyms and the letter alphabet thing, dude, I know a lot of people that fall into those columns. The funny thing is, I bet at least 30 of them are in my phone. I have their phone numbers, and I would say 2, 3, maybe 4 of them are liberals.
Real liberals, actual liberals,
huh?
Liberals, or your
I mean, left-leaning Democrats at all. The rest of them are hardcore fucking Republicans. And that's how I usually shut people the fuck up on Facebook and everything else when they start this shit. I'm like, what? I was like, so what do you have to say about your your Republican counterparts? And the crickets.
Yeah.
Because they blast me because I'm straight and white. I'm like, well, what about so and so that's gay and black? What about them? Because they're Republican.
Yeah. See, none of that matters. It's like that's. When we got true freedom of speech, which is Facebook time, let's just look like this is the effects of true freedom of speech, and which is a great thing. But I don't think our brains have caught up to when you have freedom of speech. Like if me and you are talking face to face, I'm going to talk to you a little bit different than I will online if we have a disagreement, and because there's instant consequences. Right. But if you're anonymous, that free speech has never been totally anonymous before until we had this internet revolution to where it's like, it's just different. I don't know.
It'll be interesting to see where it is in the years to come, as the internet of things grows, really, what people take it to when it comes to that perspective, but the thing is, does it get worse, or does everybody just start to call it out for what it is? Like I was saying earlier, all of a sudden there's consequences again. Somebody's going to get their fucking ass beat, not killed, not maimed, but somebody's going to, show up and beat your fucking ass for talking shit.
Yeah, I think transparency is going to be to where you're going to be held to a standard.
Yeah, it just, because like I said, it pisses me off that the left, and the extreme left especially, is the fact that the important thing is your sexuality. It's not identity at all. And the other thing is I don't care what you do. I don't care what they do. There's still an extreme minority in this world, and they're trying to take a popular stance. They're trying to be the popular gender, sex. Well, I don't know what you want to say. And it's never going to happen. It will, by default, it will never happen, because 50% of them don't even like what the progressive left is doing to begin with. That makes them more of a fucking minority.
Yeah, but it's that upside down world that you have to live in. But right
there, you go.
It's not there. We live in a culture now. Look, our culture is changing right now. We no longer live in a world where it's like kind of like dorky to be a Christian or whatever. No. We live in a world now where people actually look at religion and Christianity in general. There's a big Christian revolution going on right now, and it's not that goofy evangelical movement of like, yeah, well, I'm gonna do. No. It's more of like a you look at the philosophy behind it. And it's because of like a Jordan Peterson,
right?
Or it's like a Jonathan Pajau.
You nailed it. You nailed it.
Right. And it's because it's like, oh, no. It doesn't have to be. Like, you look at Jonah in the belly of the fish, and it's like, you going down, or he fell. I did a video a year or two ago about it. It's like, but like, you look at your life applies through all of it, so you can, whatever. But that's how scripture is a universal story. And you look at it and be like, where have we stepped away from? If this universal story built Western civilization, where have we stepped away? And it's like Jonathan Cahn has a book called The Return of the Old Gods or something like that.
I heard somebody was talking about that a while back, actually.
Bro, it's like, I've not gotten far into it, but it's awesome. Jonathan Cahn is a great writer. And it's talking about pagan gods. And they are demons, or like people talking about, there's like, there are little Elohim, little gods. Those are the principalities and powers that like. Look,
it was Glenn Beck. Glenn Beck was talking about that book in this last week.
Oh, okay, yeah. So like, Jonathan Cahn's been all over. Like just anger or like you carry an aura. What is that? What is that aura? Because I can pass it over to you. Can be in a great mood, but I can be feeling some sort of way. Oh, yeah. Say anger, and what is that? That transfers to you. You know what I mean? So who knows? If we call it a principality, it doesn't matter what we call it. But the thing is, it's fucking real. I don't know what it is. So like,
the thing is,
certain cities and demiurges.
The thing is energy gets pushed off so easily, and especially with people like on the left, and there's a lot of right wingers too. They don't understand how much negative energy they wind up absorbing and broadcasting back out there, because they don't have, I don't care how morally grounded people think they are, and I'm mostly talking about the right now.
Right.
Or Christian, they think they are. They wind up absorbing, because they don't have that they preach is not at their core. And so it's very easy for them to take in that negative energy and broadcast it right back out, dude. Right. That's an old Buddhism thing, dude. Energy can sink into you faster than lightning can strike.
Right. If you just like that teaching in Matthew 7, like, don't point out the plank in someone's eye when you got a log in your own eye. That's a Jesus teaching from Matthew 7. So it's like, it's easy. And we'll go back to what we talked about a while ago, is you can change yourself. That's what the gospel is truly about. You changing yourself through you are the temple. So if you change yourself through the gospel, and you are through baptism, and you get, let's just say, saved, for
just nailed the thing that I was trying to say, and people forget. You are your own fucking temple, and people forget that.
Yeah, you are your own temple. And once your reality shifts, because everybody's like, oh, reality, this and reality. No. When you die your life and you are born again through water and spirit, that's a different reality. That reality's changed. That old life is done. Now you walk on a different trajectory now, to where it's like, now when that gets reflected, someone like a Rick Romans, How is it that you don't even, no one even has to know a Rick, but they know to not curse around him? How? No, was Rick get mad when you curse around him? No, he doesn't. But it's just like that, something about his aura.
It's aura.
His presence, his whatever, because he's shrouded with the Holy Spirit. And it's just like, if you change yourself to get to that saintly level, we're all built to build our sanctification. And it's like, if you look at those different things, that's why Christianity is taken off, because it doesn't have to be the woo woo. It can be like, no, this, if you don't understand where Europe was back in 200, 300, 400, or you know what I mean? That's when Jonathan Cahn's book comes in. Like America is such a place to where it's so bland. Everything is bland. But now that these old gods are coming back, they're not coming back. They're getting more power, but they don't have to. You know what I mean? They don't have to. So you see Ishtar as your sexual confusion. She has the power to turn confused genders. It's all weird. Read that Jonathan Cahn book for real. Like it's definitely different. But if you live the light of the gospel in you and you just focus on yourself will be a reflection through the world, because you're supposed to be in the world but not of the world. So it's like,
and it's extremely hard to do right now, because throughout almost every second of my life up until very recent times, I'm one of those that I walked for me. But there's a time when you have to walk for others, and I think that's what a lot of us conservatives are doing now, is that we have to have our moment. We're not doing it out of fame. We're not doing it out of gluttony. We're not doing it out of anything like that. It's time to stand up to the demonism that's out there. What's the word that I'm looking for? The perversion that's out there, that's taken over the world. And I don't mean that just in a sexuality context. I mean, everything has just come so fucked up and perverted and skewed and gray lined. And it's gotta be, if it's not stomped out now and stomped out soon, the world is going to have a problem.
Right. And that's why we're seeing this different mode of being like, wow, Christianity is not dumb and goofy and boring. It's powerful.
Well, and the other thing is that the world doesn't have a problem right now. America has a problem, but what happens to us being who we are and the powers we have on this world, it will flow right out into everybody else.
Yeah. And
because if you go to, let's just put it this way. Canada likes to talk shit, the few of them do try to talk shit about America. And then we talk shit about Trump and his tariffs and everything else. And all these liberals talk about open borders and stuff. Let's just start with the basics. Try walking across the border into Canada and see what the fuck happens to you.
Yeah.
Try walking across the border into Mexico and see what the fuck happens to you. Try getting onto getting onto the plane that goes to Europe without the proper fucking documentation and see what the fuck happens to you. That's because no other country in this world puts up with the shit that leftist Americans are trying to make you think that because they always like to lean on Europe. Oh, well, in France, you could do that. No, you can't. Yeah. Bullshit.
Yeah, I totally agree. But you sit back, if we just, I don't think us as a populace are going to keep taking it. But I also thought we weren't going to take COVID, and we all took it laying down. We even had corrupt police officers arresting people for swimming in the ocean.
Yep.
During COVID, and it's like, God,
dude, they tried that shit here, and it lasted one person.
Yeah.
A group of cops went out there and tried to arrest people for walking on the beach, and let me tell you something, the whole fucking county, anybody that was a political figure about had their fucking asses torn out from underneath them. And that was the end of that.
Those cops, the lead cop, I can't blame a young cop for doing something dumb like that, but any cop with any kind of seniority said, like, no, we work under the Constitution. And it's like, the Constitution, what is that governed by? And it's like, all of a sudden now the Supreme Court doesn't matter. It's like, I don't know. It's just aggravating.
Yeah, that's the dangerous area right there.
Yeah. I'll give you the bathroom. I'll get it back.
Yep. But it's it's time for us to hold our ground and to at least the equal of what the extreme left is doing. It's time to put people back in their place. And I'm not trying to shove them back down in some hole or bury them or whatever. It's just like, y'all need to go on with your fucking lives, but don't bring your life into mine. Don't bring your moralities or ideologies or lack thereof to me and think that it should be the teachings in our schools or the acceptance in the bathrooms. Nope. Sorry, Jack. It ain't fucking happening. It's just like my cousin. When was that? Saturday or Sunday? He lives in Asheville, and he's definitely a left leaning person. And I was just about to tell a story about my cousin who's pretty much left leaning, lives in Asheville, and he had his kids at one of the big parks that's in downtown Asheville, where everybody takes their kids to on the weekends. And he was down there, and I don't know if it was somebody that was around him or if it was another friend. Their kid ran into the bathroom alone. Wow. And they got up and went, oh, wait, maybe he shouldn't run in there alone. Let me make sure, what's up. You know what they found? There was an adult dude in the girls' bathroom.
There's one weirdo that walks around here. You'll randomly see in the fucking Facebook groups, the neighborhood group. We're in Eastern Kentucky, so like this dude sticks out, and you'll see him at the mall, or whatever. And he's like full beard, dress. I seen him at Walmart the other day, and it's like seems like a nice guy. Don't know where he uses the bathroom at, but I'll be because Jesse Michaels.
This wasn't a matter of him using the bathroom. This was a previously sentenced pedophile there hovering in the bathroom. And when my cousin, when he said about that, I said, so how are you feeling about men in the women's bathroom these days, brother?
Yeah, just taking power away from women is all he done. Because if all you got to do is dress, walk, talk, and act, like, what happened to all them feminists? What happened to all them feminazis out there who care? Because
how about that shit when during the president's fucking speech, they're all up there talking about it's Women's Month. We need to prop up women, blah, blah, blah. And they shoot down the fucking bill that eliminates fucking men from competing in women's sports and have the balls, or well, probably some of them do have the balls, but they have the gall to wear pink during that speech. Like they're standing up for women's fucking rights. Who believes that shit? Nobody. Who in the fuck believes that?
No one buys it. Yeah, it's all like that's. I don't know. I like Glenn Beck a lot. I haven't listened to his show in a minute.
I haven't either because sometimes him and
I like when Pat's in there, but
he's one of the best. But him and Candace Owens can get off in some weird places.
Yeah,
and
she's been yeah.
I detached from Glenn Beck probably coming up on 10 years ago because he just started to get way out there in everything is a problem world, and I don't like listening to that.
Yeah, every episode was everything.
Yeah, everything's doom and gloom, and just actually, I ran out of when I was watching that house I was telling you about earlier. I ran out of podcasts to listen to last week, and I was like,
a good feeling because you know what starts never good feeling. I hate that.
No, it's not. But I subscribed to Glenn Beck, but I've just never listened to him, and I'm like, well, what the fuck? Let's listen to Glenn Beck.
Yeah,
and he was actually good, back on point. In a good place. And I'm like, well, I'm glad I listened.
Yeah. I miss the days whenever they used to make fun of Alex Jones and they're buddies now, but they used to make fun of each other pretty bad because Glenn would cry all the time. And then, But speaking of Alex Jones, man, do you see where that reporter got taken out?
I didn't see that. No.
Yeah. He had a reporter working for him and somehow I was like, so I don't know who knows what he's working on, but it was just, no one knows anything. No one knows nothing. Just a reporter.
And it's Alex Jones, and I'm always on the fence with him because for a long time he could get conspiratorial too, and it's just like, man, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I love it.
But him, James O'Keefe, with Trump sitting up there and JFK in the wheelhouse too. I'm waiting to see what all they actually wind up pulling out of.
Dude, James O'Keefe, he got rooted out of his own company. Project Veritas, they had some liberal ass movement. Project Veritas is no more. Now it's a James O'Keefe company or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Dude, have you seen the movie that he put out? about going across the border.
Oh, I've seen trailers on Tucker's podcast about it. But
dude, you have got to watch that. Holy shit.
Yeah, he actually did it. Like, or sent a report or someone, didn't he?
I've watched it 3 times.
Well, what's it? Is it on like some sort of who's streaming it?
You have to be subscribed. It might be on other platforms now, but when it was first released, it was on Tucker Carlson's channel. That it's an app.
Tucker building is he building his own platform or something?
Who?
Tucker.
Oh yeah, he's got his own media platform now.
Yeah, that's the way they do it. See, I always liked back to Glenn where Glenn had the Blaze, and then they had Mark Levin had the CRTV. Yeah. Like when they combined, became Blaze Media, which is pretty whatever. But like, I like the idea of having everything in one. But then you have your Daily Wire Zionists who keep everything locked down on their own. So right. I don't know. I'm a doubt. I didn't know Tucker had he had his own thing because I forgot about that.
It's almost like he kind of knew what was coming to him at Fox because it was in the blink of an eye. He had his own media company. He had the app came out, and he puts everything on YouTube too, except for certain interviews and things like that. And there's extended stuff in his app where I'm subscribed because Tucker Carlson is the shit. He's right there with Joe Rogan.
His interviews have been awesome lately, dude. Like we're talking about like Sam Brinkman-Fried one day turns around and has
what's up?
You know who it doesn't like. You know what it is.
Beard, yeah, he's got a bunch of really good interviews. And like I said, I think he looked at Joe Rogan's platform and said, this is the way, this is the new media. And it really is.
Yeah, because if you have 15 different apps, that's where I caught myself the other day. I had tons of we didn't do the Rocket Mortgage thing, but I just went through my bank account and just matched up with the apps on my phone. Because it's hard to find. I'll get charged for shit that I don't even know where my subscription's coming from.
Oh, I went through it a couple weeks ago, man.
Yeah, that's what I had. I think I had 2 HBO Max accounts, and I was so pissed. Like, I had 2 Amazon or Audibles, but one's mine, one's Kayla's. I always try to take her credits, but she don't ever give them to me.
Dude, I thought I was doing pretty good at it because I'm usually pretty on top of that. And then it was just like 3 weeks ago. I was sitting at home. I can't remember what I was doing.
Yeah, I like Unsubscribed Podcast. Those guys are awesome. The cops.
I saw my Apple charges pop up like 6 times in a row real fast on my Apple card. I'm like, oh yeah, I ain't got nothing on fucking Apple in a hot minute. What the fuck is that? And I pulled it up, and there was fucking charges on apps that I thought I'd gotten rid of eons ago. Yeah. And I'm like, holy shit. I mean, it was like $200.
I finally stopped paying for StreamYard. I had been paying $25 a month or whatever it was forever. And I was like, I haven't went live on my own channel. And so there was a couple months. It was about a month or two ago where I finally turned it off.
I haven't heard of Unsubscribe. Who is that?
They're the Fat Electrician is one of them. He's awesome. He knows history like crazy. They're like a bunch of cops and military guys who are awesome. They like drinking beer and talking about normal shit. They're awesome. Yeah. The Unsubscribed Podcast is great.
Haven't heard of it, but I will definitely check them out.
Yeah, especially Fat Electrician. If you need to find a YouTube channel and you want to hear about like a crazy guy from World War II that led people into war with no chances of winning and ended up taking everything, you'll hear stories about those dudes from the Fat Electrician. It's awesome.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Oh, dude, he's great. And he's a great storyteller.
Actually, while we're talking, carry the conversation. I'll look it up real quick.
Yeah, he's a great storyteller. There's dudes on. He's got awesome stories. So if Beers ever checked him, I'm sure he has. If he's heard of the Unsubscribed Podcast, he's definitely heard of that. I didn't even have a good list of podcasts I've been listening to. I've just been running the gamut of listening to just kind of what comes up. Here lately, it's been a lot of Lent things. I've been trying to do good in Lent, and I haven't done good at all for that. Yeah, Donut Operator, Brandon Herrera, Fat Electrician, yeah. And they even have Wendigoon will be in there sometimes. Wendigoon's great. Like, I like one podcast I do listen to is Winnegoon and that one dude, the fat guy. But they tell Creepcast. Creepcast is what it's called. Exactly. Yeah, Creepcast. It's just stupid, silly stories.
Creep like you're a creep?
Creepcast, like, yeah. CREEP cast. Yeah. But it's like if you like goofy stories from it was a genre of storytelling that hit Reddit in like 2010, 2012 era.
Oh, I know what this is. Yeah. Damn, I'd forgotten about this. Totally.
Yeah, check out Fat Electrician too. He's awesome. Yeah, Creepcast is great. Wonder why Float didn't come up. Was he scared?
No, he's like, dude, I'm almost asleep. He said I didn't even come on here until I'd already gotten in bed.
Wow. He drops the ball.
I know, man.
I'm gonna download that TNC network, that Tucker stuff. Like, I didn't even realize that he had his own network. I never downloaded the Daily Wire or nothing, but I had the Blaze Media for the longest time. Winnegoon is a great storyteller, one of my favorite storytellers. Yeah. And Lore Lodge. Lore Lodge has awesome stories.
Lodge, yeah.
And there's Haunted Cosmos, had one about MK Ultra. And did America actually stop the MK Ultra stuff? The Haunted Cosmos had that podcast. Awesome shit. It's like, okay, can you imagine?
I heard that one.
Can you imagine living in a world like just 15 years ago? We'd have never got that information. You couldn't have went to the library and found this shit out.
Well, and if you did, it would be the deepest dive, and you'd have to go to like Washington D.C. to fucking get into that.
And you'd be on ham radio and telling your story.
Right,
and then,
right. There you go.
So it's like, I don't know. Yeah, Winnegoon is one of my favorites. Did Flow overheat podcast? What does that mean?
Oh no, he just had to work. He literally got home like 30 minutes ago. He texted me and said, "Dude, I heated up some food and came and laid down the bed." When he said hello in here, he's like, "I'm in bed."
Was he is he like an Amazon driver or something?
No, he works for a mower dealership.
Oh, hell yeah, that's awesome. It's hot in Alabama. Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yeah, dude, it was almost 80 degrees here, man. I had the sunroof open, the windows down, the music fucking jamming. I was like, "Oh, we're alive again."
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it's been the past couple of days. It's been gorgeous. Like it's still 60 degrees right now.
Yeah, it's at least that here.
Yeah, tomorrow's supposed to be the nicest day. Like 78 tomorrow. That's so awesome.
Yeah, we're supposed to get some nasty fucking storms this fucking weekend.
That's coming this weekend, I reckon. I was putting brakes on the truck. Man, that's what I need to do. I've had these two wheel bearings that I've had all my problems. I have my trouble with the idler arm bracket, pitman arm, all these issues because of wheel bearing. But I order a wheel bearing, order the idler arm, pitman arm, bracket, everything. I put the new suspension, everything in my truck. I put all that in. I didn't change the wheel bearing, so I didn't feel like it. So it's like I still have my wheel bearing sitting there, and I can, when I'm driving, I hear roar.
Oh shit,
dude! I'm so fucking lazy. I'm a piece of shit. Like there's like, I don't know why I have everything, but I'm worthless. And it's like I don't know what's going on.
And Beardus, we kind of cruised past that.
Would they find? Did I miss something?
No, they've started to uncover some shit about the Obamas. I heard it was I spoke of it just briefly a minute ago, but it's I haven't watched the full news yet. When they were starting to talk about it, we were eating dinner, and it wasn't much that they said on the news so far, but I missed all of it because Pierce was determined to tell me about something that happened at church tonight. So yeah. I didn't catch it.
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to find a lot of, I'm sure, about the Clinton. Well, they already found a bunch about the Clinton crime network with what's her face and an $80 million for her wedding or whatever.
Oh yeah, well shit. I mean, all that came up in the surface when Hillary fucked over Bernie, and they did nothing. Did fucking nothing. It's like, why haven't they? It's almost stupid to do something now. It's like that's what baffled me and kind of got me pissy about politics, was the fact I was like, it's not the fact that why are we so obsessed that Trump won? Is that the great cover up? Because y'all literally blurbed it across like a millisecond that Hillary got busted for giving Bernie the fucking shaft, and we just bury that.
Yeah. They've been getting monthly pension. Yeah. See, oh my God. Yeah, that's the bullshit. Like, yeah, why aren't they in prison? I look at that and like, there's so many people hurting, so many people out here trying to pay their bills. And it's like, there's no help for them. Oh, we're going to cut out domestic spending. We're going to cut this. But meanwhile, these guys never has to pay that back. Never going to be held to any kind of fucking account. Yeah. And or if anybody gets in, I don't know. I just get so aggravated. You look at all these working class people who try and try and try, never get a fucking raise forever. And if they, you know what I mean? It's like,
hey, my son got a 8% raise today. It was his first raise in the real world.
That's awesome. 8% is awesome. When I was working at the factory, I had a 5%, and I had one of the biggest ones, and I was excited. 8% is awesome.
What sucks about it is he wants to leave because he's ready to kind of get out there and do his own thing, and they want. And he was kind of. I mean, he makes a shit ton of money for what he does, but he was kind of bored because he's like, dude, I'm just a fucking desk jockey. I'm like not in charge of anything. I don't have any certain tasks. I'm just, somebody's gopher. And I was like, dude, I was like, that's how the whole world starts. But they asked him today if he wants to be a broker. And he was like, yes. And he said it was a catch-22. He said, because I'd love to be a broker making broker money. He said, but I really don't have any heart in this business. I've decided I don't want to do it. He said, but I'm caught because, dude, if he got his broker's license, he's guaranteed $200,000 a year, and he's 22. He's 22.
Killer. Yeah, that's killer. That's killer. Yeah, there's a couple fabrication jobs that I almost took on third shift, and that they were urgent hiring, and I thought I'm not going to get caught in that trap, but. If you don't take pride in what you're doing, why be miserable?
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing that I'm doing in the background. I hadn't even spoken that in a while, is I'm slowly but surely, whether I do anything with it as far as career goes, I doubt. It's just more in lines to help me with what I want to do personally. And if me and Costas get some other properties and things, I'm slowly hacking away at getting my real estate license.
Hey,
that's you think that's an easy test. It's not.
I know a buddy of mine's got his because he got tired of paying these other guys 6% or like he's like a middleman.
That's why I'm doing it.
Yeah. He got tired of it. And it's like, and he buys and sells houses. So he'd have to go through a realtor. It'd be his money up. And he'd have to go through a realtor, and like he did all the work. Half the time he's finding the clients, but he had to have a realtor. That's a scam. Hey, get your realtor's license. You can make an easy money there. Not all the time. But.
No, but if you crack through the marketing system and get known, you can walk through it.
Yeah, and because I work for a bunch of them realtor guys right now. And the one dude, Daniel, he buys and sells houses too, and he's worked his way up from shitty small houses. Now he's finally got enough money to buy these bigger ones. And on his second bigger, nice house, he was like, why am I giving this dude 3 or 6% or whatever just to list it? Like, he's like, that's when he just went and he's taking his test. Yeah. I don't know if he's got it finished but he's doing it right now. He just picked up another property. Like Trevor's telling me that this property that we're going to be starting here in a week or two, it's so bad and dilapidated that like, he's not even sure for sure yet if he wants to take it on. I guess there's a tree growing through part of like, it's bad. I said, I'm excited. I want to get it on camera.
Nice. All they do is link MLS. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's not all they do because it is a marketing game and it is who you know. It's like I've got at least 3 friends that are really good in real estate. One of them, really close friend of mine, Lonnie. He started in 1989, right after Hurricane Hugo hit here. And it was right after, was it 89 or 90? It was right after the savings and loan crash. when real estate just clammed up, and which would be nothing compared to 2009. But at that point in time, it was seen as disastrous, and it was very short lived. But people left real estate jobs left and right. Where there is around here, where an office would have, I don't know, 20, 30 real estate agents in it, they might have had 3. And Lonnie's like, I'm going to become a real estate agent. He bought the down and he hammered away, dude. He stayed in the call office when nobody else wanted to. And within 5 years, he was making more than $5 million a year.
Hell yeah. That's all. Those people who don't stop and just keep taking calls, or like Patrick Bet-David used to talk about in his book, Your Next 5 Moves, or it's Choose Your Enemies Wisely. He would talk about whenever he was first in the sales game, he would tell all his buddies, like, before we go to the bar, let's make 50 calls real quick. And we'll do it as a group. Yep. They split it up. He goes, let's do 50 more. Let's do 50 more. And eventually his buddies call him out. But like, that's how Patrick Bet-David is where he's at versus where everybody else, or your buddy who continued to make all them calls is where he's at.
Yep. And I've got another friend of mine that Lonnie did nothing but sell. And what he did was he got in, and he, to this day, for the past 25 years, he sells 1 house a year. Mm. And all those years, not 25, 15. Yeah, somewhere around 15. In the past 15 years, he has not listed a house for under $12 million. Wow. Every house, and he sells 1.
Hey,
look, it puts him in a weird tax bracket, but he basically retired and said, I'm just going to sell 1 mega house a year. That's all I'm going to do. And that's what awesome. I'm going to live off of.
And he don't have to. He can always pick it up more if he wanted to, but yeah.
Yeah, and he always could. But he basically at 40, he said, I'm going to retire. I'm just going to sell 1 mega mansion a year or something. But nothing has been under like 10, 12 million bucks.
But the thing that's cool too is like anybody who knows that, like, if they want to list a mega mansion, they know who to go to.
They call him.
Right, exactly. So he's built himself a niche market, which is awesome.
Exactly. And Callie, who we just got to know recently, in recent times, I should say, she lives 4 or 5 houses down. She has sold in the past year, I can't tell you how many homes, and they've never hit the MLS because she's got contacts. Yeah. If she hears a house is going, she doesn't even list houses. She goes around and gets all the info and finds out what houses are about to be listed. And she just picks up the phone and starts dialing the fucking digits. And usually she can sell that home before the listing agent can put it on MLS.
Yeah, that's what's awesome about them.
That's contacts. That's all that is. That's contacts.
And Beers is talking about, I don't have any issues hustling 24/7. But the thing is, this is what reminds me of that Dave Ramsey and all them other internet guru guys. I like Dave Ramsey a lot, but that no one's ever going to know you worked hard as what you did is like someone said, as much as your kids knows that you weren't there. That's one thing that like you got to, that 24/7 hustle mindset, hustle, grind. And I know that's not the point of your comment, but that's what the internet reminds me of, because I'm thinking about sales right now. And that's what I'm excited about. I like hanging flyers and selling and talking to people. That's one of my favorite things to do. A lot of people hate that. But that's what I like. But then there are times to where last time I was kicking in business pretty heavy, let's say 5-6 years ago, I was gone nonstop. And then I would focus only on the YouTube. I would get home, finish my business work, and then focus on YouTubes. And it's like, no one knows more that I wasn't paying attention than my kids know that I wasn't paying attention. You know what I mean? And some of those guys were like, work your ass off for 20 years. It's like, yeah, but you missed the key moments, What sucks, my kid decided he ain't want to play T-ball this year. My oldest pissed me off. I sat down. I'm like, but he's just like not big into sports, and he knows, and that's somewhere where I could have worked better. But he's just not, And I'm like, all right, how about this? I'll work with you through the summer, maybe next year. All right, maybe next year. I'm like, okay. He just didn't want to do it.
And maybe he late blooms because, dude, up until I was 10, I didn't give a shit about sports either. A lot of my friends are going to play, T-ball and whatever it is just before that, and Bantam football and everything that goes on at the fucking Y, or at least used to. I didn't give a shit about it. I wanted to ride my bike in the fucking woods. But once I got the urge when I was 10, and I started, I picked up soccer. It's when I started surfing. Well, I started surfing before that, but that's kind of when you're that young, it's very seasonal. It's not like you can get on your, get in your car and go to the beach whenever you want to. And, but when I picked up soccer, and dude, I became obsessed. In all honesty, I did very well. And Henley was the same way. Henley didn't do much until he was, about that age.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even think I was like, Jesse Michael did great until like, not last year before they played football, and we played a bigger school, and then he got hit really, really hard. And it's supposed to be flag football. We're talking 4. Yeah. He was 4 at the time. He got hit super hard. Ever since then, he's been shook with all sports. So it's like, okay, he just got done with basketball. He would take himself out the game. There was games to where he told the coach, no, I don't want to go in. Do not want to. No. And it's just like, okay, so there's something more going on. So I'm just going to work with him this year. His brother's going to be getting a little bit older. And then they're now just being able to start really roughhouse and play together. So it's like, now it's like, you know what I mean? That's awesome about Matt. Like, good for him.
Well, see, and it's awesome. Things like that. That's what I mean. At a very early age, like by the time I was like a freshman in high school, I knew I was like, I want to go do what I want to do. I'm not worried about being the richest dude. I want to do what I want to do. And if I happen to have a family, they will be my fucking priority. And the only way that I can accomplish that is not punching a clock. The only way I'm not punching a clock when you're coming up in the 80s and 90s, especially in early 2000s, is you're on your own. And that's and I like the artistic values of what I do and meeting people. I don't need the real estate agent money. If it comes around in my life like it does now, when I don't have to have every pressing moment on the family, then I'll do it. But I'm also at a point where I can do it on the side, or not do it at all. Just do it as a personal thing, because there's a few lots over here that I'd like to buy, and some things that are going to be big probably in a few years. That and Costas and I doing some other things, which I need to talk further to you about that at some point in time soon. But I never missed anything Henley did, and I've never missed anything Ellie has done so far, and I'm not going to miss anything that Pierce does. And whether that means I have to work solo or I have to, build a crew up to where I don't have to be there all the time. But I'm not going to pound pavement just to for some devil's lettuce.
Right. And I totally agree. And like, look at Beard's this comment. I love the idea of doing my own thing, but I was so comfortable in a stable 9 to 5, and there's nothing wrong with that.
There's not.
If the shop I was working at before, I worked there for quite a few years, if they wouldn't have sold and then like company management did some changes, I wouldn't have left. And the thing is, like, if a couple weeks ago, me and Kayla thought like, oh God, she might be pregnant. Like, it was kind of one of the things, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna go back to, because I do not mind working in fabrication as a stable, whatever, and just doing stuff on the side. No, that doesn't bother me at all. A lot of people get hemmed up. And I was this way for a long time. It's like having a job and doing a side gig, like versus like building a YouTube channel and being able to say you're full time. That was a big deal for me for a long time until I got a little bit older and had my second kid came around. And I realized I don't care what you got. Don't care about your fucking equipment. What can I do to worry about myself? What do I need?
But and it's the security in that and the confidence that it takes to do that, whether you're going to make good money or not. It's that's what separates you. But like Beardist, if he found the right job from 9 to 5 that allowed him, to do the things in life he wants to do, fucking awesome. That's great, because the good thing about 9 to 5 is you do walk away from your job when you clock out most of the time. And I don't. It's always on. But the big thing with me. Now, I started this business even before I was married. And so, it was kind of a buildup. But that was, like I said, even back then, I was like, if I want to have every minute that I want to, because I grew up with a dad that was like that. That's another thing. My dad never missed shit with me and my brother.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's what it's about.
And he coached me 1 year in soccer. But more than that, I helped my dad build the soccer fields that created my path. And so because my dad saw the interest in it, my dad went and got the contract to build the soccer fields that became James Island soccer fields, who are known throughout the United States for their championship fucking teams. And I was a member of one of those first teams. And I wanted to carry that on. If Henley picked up soccer, I'm like, we're not just going to be at Henley's fucking games, watching him win. I'm going to be the coach that wins it with him. And I had the pleasure of doing that for 7 seasons, or was it 8? Anyway, and championship after championship, and nothing can take that from me and Henley. Is the fact that Henley didn't just win championships and be great at soccer. I helped him get there. And it's like, and Pierce is showing a lot of interest in martial arts, which Henley took for, a good 12 years. And I'm 20, almost 30 years into it. And Pierce is showing, but it's funny in that I would show Henley things. I would train with Henley, but I refuse to teach him. Because there's a philosophy in there, and it's great that I can interject in there and mold it and nurture and push him in the right direction. But I was like, there's nothing better than if who taught me teaches him. That's also a respectful thing in martial arts world. But Pierce is showing a little bit of interest in that, and that's probably going to be his path, because there's not any good soccer teams around this area. And Sarah's like, "Well, start one." I'm like, I'm kind of past that moment, you know. And if we're the only good team around, we're going to have to travel a lot. And I was like, it's not just one kid like Henley was.
This soccer's taking over. Like, it's becoming super popular, like big time.
It's been mega popular here for 35 years at least.
Never around here, but now it's starting to, like, the schools are picking it up, and it's like big time. Yeah.
It goes, well, at least 40 years actually. I mean, it was fairly popular 40 years ago, and at least 30 to 35 years ago, it's been extremely popular. It's been like the sport. There's a lot of football too, but I'd say they're neck and neck.
Yeah, they're Ironton, right across the river there. They just got another state championship. So that's all you heard about. But that school, Ironton, is like that. They will farm. It's crazy. Like, they'll farm out a bunch of these kids from the smaller schools all around here, and then, like, that alumni, I don't know how they're getting away with it, but they will set the parents up with a house, a job, this and this, and they will, like, take all these kids around, and then they robbed this whole tri-state area of their talent to build a mega team, which, whatever. I guess if the alumni can afford it, and I guess it's legal if you're living there. I don't know how that's. I don't know. Right.
Well, sports is another thing. Sports is politics, dude. I learned that, man, when because I defied that and had to fight that when I became a coach. And especially when you're talking about soccer's got a bunch of uppity fucking rich kids and mom and dads in it. A lot of
hockey. Yeah.
Yeah. And dude, to fight that system because they think they can buy their way onto a team and stuff. I mean, I literally had parents approaching us going, "What does it take to get in here?" I was like, it takes your kid to be worth a shit. Yeah, and they would get offended. They would get pissed because they think that they could schmooze their way onto the team or something. I'd be like, no. And they would try to go to, the league manager and stuff like that. And who I know for a fact has let things sell out on other teams in the league. And they're like, to be on his team, you're fighting a lost cause. He said, sure, I could try to pressure him, but you know what? He's the motherfucker that will turn this whole place upside down and expose everybody. So it's a no.
Yeah, you can't let that politics, because every kid knows it. Every kid's got that story of the coach's son, or 90% of the time, the coach's son is the best because the coach is working with their son more than everybody else.
Well, it's not even that. It's just I had a reputation for being a really good coach, but a lot of really good kids wanted to be on our team because our team in every division that we moved up through the ages, we took the championship every fucking year.
Yeah,
and so
a great coach will do it every time too. A great coach.
When everybody wanted to be on the team, and it's like they could vote, that they could kind of buy their way in, and it's like not on my fucking team. That's how we win every time, is we actually have people that can play. Nobody bought their fucking way onto this shit. and sure, there's some mega rich kids and middle class.
I love them Karens who try to do that. I still catch a Karen every now and again on YouTube. I'll see a video of like a Karen running someone off of her private neighborhood who has a pond. But it's like, if you know someone who lives there, I love them Karens who they cannot stand it if anybody's having a good time. And that's in sports. Them Karens are in sports like crazy.
Oh, hardcore, man. But, they, like I said, they would try to come up to me, and I was like, you might as well get the fuck out of here. And there, I couldn't tell you the number of times that they went to the president or whatever it is of the league and trying to, go over my head to pressure me and force me to take their kid so that their loser ass fucking kid could be on a championship team. I'm like, no. I was like, my worst player is better than 90% of the other people out there because I got kids that want to play. They may have, I would choose somebody. I would choose a Rudy. Everybody knows who Rudy was. I would choose Rudy over some fucking punk ass kid's parents that got some money. If you got heart, I could teach you, because there's a strength that you have somewhere on that team. It might only be 5 minutes worth, but there's that 5 minutes worth where that kid is fucking critical to the fucking team at some point in time in the season. Maybe every fucking game he's critical, but I'm going to take the Rudy over that punk ass kid every fucking time, every time. And we were the funny thing is we were kind of known for being a little bit of the bad news bears of the soccer world. and
I didn't realize soccer is that big time where you're at.
Oh, it's always been huge, dude. I mean, it's mega huge. But I would laugh because, we were very unorthodox. My training sessions, you'd go out there and you'd see all these coaches with all these stupid warm-ups and all these drills and everything. And my main focus was put the ball in the fucking goal. I don't care how you do it. Show me how you do it, and I'll train you from there. Put the ball in the fucking goal. That's the only objective here.
That's it.
And nobody could wrap that around their fucking heads. They wanted to teach these kids all these techniques and all these drills. And I'm like, that's great. And I taught them too, but it was like the B-roll. It's like, study this when you can, but the objective, again, put the ball in the fucking goal.
Yeah, it reminds me of that Ted Lasso, that kid, that Rojas. Did you watch Ted Lasso?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rojas. Football is life.
Yeah.
I like that. He was my favorite. Football is life, coach.
1992 is off the chains. We stayed suspended in dude, that was my whole high school life.
I got suspended my first day of my senior year.
Oh, Alabama, yeah.
And my last day of my senior year. My first day of my senior year, I threw a whole milk carton at a group full of freshmen. A chocolate carton. Suspended my very first day as a senior because I wanted to be a tough guy. Last day, I got caught smoking in my truck. I'm like, I'm 18. I'm allowed to. I was a tough guy. I'm smoking.
Dude, I can't tell you how many times I got, like my freshman year, I got suspended for smoking.
Is your vehicle?
I'd be walking through the fucking courtyard smoking a cigarette between classes. I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And I always got suspended. And it's funny, my sophomore year, because I had the same principal all 4 years, Dr. Sheely. And my sophomore year, I don't know if it was the first day, but it was definitely the first week. I'm sitting there over by the band room smoking a cigarette where a bunch of us, the surfers and the skaters, kind of hung out over there. And hacky sacks. You'd easily see a joint or a bowl passed around from time to time, but mostly it's over there just smoking cigarettes. Dr. Sheely came busting out with a side door in the band room and busted everybody. And he goes, you, and you. Because he saw, everybody did this. And he goes, in the office now. And he goes, Mr. Cody, right here, front and center. I was like, oh, shit. I was like, he's going to probably try to expel my ass because I was probably suspended 14, 15 times my freshman year.
I was always in trouble too,
And he said, step inside. And I said, all right. He said, it was like in the band practice room. And he said, he looked at me, he said, you keep your ass right here until I come back. Don't you go to class. Don't you go outside and smoke a cigarette. You stay right here until I come back. Dude, an hour went by, like an hour. I'm like, where the fuck is this dude?
Yeah, I'm fucked here. This is bad.
I was like, oh shit, it's got real now. I was like, but I was always the kid that was pushing buttons and shit like that, but I was always respectful to my teachers and my principal.
Yeah.
And but like an hour went by, I'm like, fuck, man, I want a cigarette. I mean, I'm nervous. I'm fucking wondering what's going on. I want a cigarette more than I've ever wanted one. Well, I stepped outside, and I shit you not, dude, I lit a cigarette, and I was like on my second fucking draw of that thing. And here he comes around the corner.
Yeah, he's been gone for an hour. Yeah,
an hour. And he goes, God damn it.
Can't leave you alone for 2 minutes.
And I was like, well, fuck, dude. I literally looked at him. I was like, you were gone for an hour. I was like, I'm here by myself. He goes, he looked at me. He said, put that fucking cigarette out. And I was like,
yeah. Mr. Hart was my principal, and I always used to fish and hunt on his property. And I was always honest with him, but I was always in trouble for dumb shit. And I was that kid who never lied. I'm still this way now. If I get caught up doing something, I will not lie to you.
I won't either. I'll own it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I was always that way too. And he would always let me hunt and fish on his property. And then like when I brought a gun to school on accident, I had it in the bed of my truck. And then some liberal ass teacher called the sheriff, and then Mr. Hart comes and gets me, and he's the principal. He's like, look, you got your gun in your truck. I said, I don't know. I was coon hunting last night. I don't know. I stayed at, whatever. And he's like, well, there's a gun in your truck, and it's in your back window. And I knew it was there, but I didn't really give a shit. He's like, look, cops are here. Those not sheriffs. It was local cops. And I knew all the local cops anyway, but they were like, just go home, drop it off, come back. I'm like, okay, cool. And that was like, I had to go home, drop my gun off and come back to school.
When I was in school, that was no big deal. There was no offense to that.
I didn't even think nothing of it. I did not think none of it. And no one was even mad. Like no one, how many people walked past my truck that day and probably seen my gun there and never even thought nothing of it. But it was a newer teacher. I know exactly, like Green, Miss Green. I don't even know.
Dude, you could put like in my Bronco on my side windows on the back had racks on the glass back there. There was at least 2 or 3 guns every fucking day.
When I was a kid, you had to have gun racks, and you had to have at least a 22 and a 12 gauge. Had to. Yeah. If not, you was a bitch. You was a fag. You had to have. Where I grew up, you had to have gun racks. And stuff.
That's what we did. But that Dr. Shealy, when he pulled me back in that room, he said, Cody, I want to tell you something. He said, we're not going through this shit again this year. He said, if I catch you in a bathroom smoking a cigarette, I'm expelling you. Damn. If I catch you out here he said, in the courtyard, walking through my courtyard again, I'm expelling you. I said, yes, sir. Yes, sir. He said, I know that's not bothering you, but it's going to bother you about the time your parents find out you got expelled. And I was like, yes, sir. I understand. He said, but I said, oh, shit. He says, if you got the time, he said, he asked what my schedule was. And I told him. And he says, I'm going to tell you 3 places. He says, if you go to the teacher's parking lot.
Oh, no shit.
You go by yourself. He said, you don't tell any. He looked me dead in the eyes. He said, you don't tell any of your goddamn friends. And he said, you go to the teacher's parking lot, you go to your vehicle, or you go over by the driver's ed trailer and you smoke your fucking cigarettes by yourself. And I'm going to tell every teacher in this fucking school I don't know that he said fucking, but I'm saying it here because it was that kind of tone. I'm going to tell them not to mess with you.
Damn.
He said, but if I catch you anywhere outside of those 3 places, your ass is expelled. And I was like, oh shit. And I held to it too. I held tight for the whole 3 years. Yeah, there was plenty of times when I'd go, I'd be hey, I need to go to the bathroom. And teacher let me go to the bathroom. Shit, the bathroom was across the hall in most of my classes like that, or at least right down on the corner. Shit, I went outside, downstairs, and out into one of the parking lots to smoke a cigarette. Came back.
Yeah, we used to chew a lot of tobacco in school, and then when we moved to the new high school, this is like 2000.
Yeah, we did. Bandits were our thing, man, because you didn't have all that mess in your mouth. Yep.
Well, like Grizzly had just gotten cheap. Grizzly was the new cheap thing. It's 2002, 2004. Yep. But I was in Mr. Balkan's study hall one day, and he knew we all chewed. He didn't. No one really cared because you get caught with your skull rings in your pocket, and that was cool to have. Like everybody, you were cool if you had a skull ring, but like no one really said anything if like you swallowed it. But like then I was sitting there, Mr. Balkan staring at me, and he's talking. He knows that I've been spitting on the carpet and rubbing it in, and this.
Oh yeah.
But he's standing over top of me, and he's my neighbor too at the time. So he knows all the shenanigans I get up to. He literally lives right across the fucking street from. He's over top of me talking, and I just got this huge mouthful of spit, and I'm just trying to keep it. And then I started sweating. Then it's like,
yeah,
I haven't been chewing it.
Been there.
Yeah, and like it was just like getting worse and darker, and eventually I'm like. And he's like, yeah, I swallowed it all, and I just went pale. And he goes, "Okay, cool. I got accomplished what I needed to do. You can go ahead and go to the bathroom." And then he left. And I just was gone. You know, I mean, it was awesome,
dude. The only thing that I've ever been able to swallow like that, and I would do that in class sometimes too, because I wouldn't put a whole chew in my mouth. Is beech nut or Levi Garrett. And I would just get a few leaves and put it in there, and I could swallow that without a problem. But like Skull, Copenhagen, or Grizzly, no fucking, I ain't swallowing that.
Yeah, that's what I got. Nowadays, it doesn't bother me. I usually fall asleep with a chewing, but like back then, I do remember that the bandits were still a big deal then. But now that they have snus and stuff, to where there is no real excuse, like you could.
Yeah,
snus is like if you get the actual snus, if you want to quit, or snus is great for that. But you're always going to be trading one for another.
Yeah.
I grew up in a little teeny tiny farm town. We'd get school off for deer season every year, all week for deer season. Like it was awesome. Like, and Mr. Hart, principal, like he'd always host. Like he wouldn't host it, but he'd always have like big buck contest type stuff, which I never took out a big dandy or nothing. But like, it was awesome. Like, I loved living in a small town with the. At the time I hated it. I thought it was the end of the world. But looking back now, it's
like me with living on an island. It wasn't. It was kind of small. It wasn't necessarily small, but it's an island, dude. Everybody knows every fucking body.
Yeah.
And it was funny. Dr. Sheely, the principal, when we graduated, he actually went as one of the chaperones on our senior cruise, and we one day, I'll never forget, it was me, a friend of mine, Beck, and who was the other guy? I think it was Mike Rowe. Not the famous Mike Rowe, but I know a Mike Rowe. And and so we were walking, we were actually going to like the where the girls were on the other side, and we passed Dr. Sheely's fucking cabin. The doors closed, and we went by, it was like, we all looked at each other because we all three of us at the same exact time knew we smelled weed. Yeah. And we were like, what are the odds of this? And so Beck goes, he didn't say anything to us. He just turned around and goes and knocks on Dr. Sheely's fucking door. And I don't mean like tap, tap, tap.
It wasn't him.
I mean like bam, bam, bam. And Dr. Sheely opens the fucking door. We're all standing there, dude. It was him. It was all day long. It was his fucking. He was fucking smoked out in there, and we didn't smoke with him or anything. We just laughed about it and walked on. And but after that, like 2 or 3 years later, maybe about 5 actually, I moved out south of town where Dr. Sheely lived, and I didn't know he lived out there. Which is a very small town. It might be 1,800 people, and it's a farm community. It's like It's like 1,500 farms, but they're all like 500, 1,000 acres apiece.
Right.
And very few families out there. And there's one restaurant in town, too. One's a barbecue place, one's a seafood place. And I went to the seafood place every day to eat lunch, almost every day, and
that'd be awesome.
Or breakfast. And I walked in there one day after I moved out there because I knew the owners, and because we used to go out there. My parents would drive out there like once a month as kids to go to this place. And so I was like, it was nostalgia when I walked in there as an adult. And I'm sitting in there, and I got to know Dean and his wife, the owner and stuff, and like very close friends pretty quickly. And one day I'm sitting there, and Dr. Sheely walks in, and I turned back. I just heard the door open because it's got the little bell. It's the old fucking diner in town, dude. The door opens, the bell goes ding, ding, ding. I turn around and look because I'm right there at the bar, and it was Dr. Sheely. I was like, well, what the fuck? And he looked, as fast as my brain could go, holy shit, what the fuck? He was like, Mr. Cody. I'm like,
yeah, he didn't hesitate. Didn't miss a beat.
He didn't hesitate, dude. He forgot my name for shit. He comes and sits down at the bar next to me. And dude, for up until right before Lisa passed away, every Sunday, me and that dude met for breakfast or lunch at that restaurant.
It's crazy. Some of them teachers and stuff who can remember. There's no way I'd be able to recall. Like, I don't know. I know a teacher who, Mr. Balkin, who was my neighbor. Like, I was a member at a small little bar when I lived up north, and we'd always go up there and drink. This is just a couple years ago, and like, random students would come in, and he. I just don't understand how he remembers everybody. That was maybe it was just one teacher that I knew that I lived across the street from for my whole life and stuff. But he would always know everybody. And he remembered everybody. And so, like, years go by, you see younger kids being able to get into the bar and stuff like that. But, yeah, I don't know how those teachers remember and can recall students. Hell, I can't even meet. If I work, there's so many times I'll be walking around like, hey, I used to work with you at Liebert, or I used to work with you at MTD. I'm like, yeah, man, what's going on, Chief? And I have no
clue. Right.
I have no clue who these motherfuckers are. Not a clue. And I just say, yeah, how's it going, man? I have no idea. But like these teachers and stuff,
Kenny,
they know how to.
Me and Dr. Sheely, like I said, every Sunday. Sometimes it'd be like a Friday or Saturday, depending on what was going on in the world. But we would sit and eat either lunch or breakfast together, and we were hunting all the time together. It was like, we went. Dude, my parents went round and round with his ass a few times, and it was like a love-hate relationship. But after that, he was like the coolest dude in the world, man. He's like, one day he just said, hey, man, you hunt? I'm like, of course I fucking hunt. And he's like, come on out to the farm, man. He said, but the back 50 is a cornfield for quail hunting. Oh, man, quail and dove. I was like, oh, cool. And I said, are there any pheasant out there? He said, yeah. He said, we don't stock it, but some will show up. And I was like, I'm in. And I went out there, and lo and behold, the fucker lived less than 3 miles from me. Yeah. I was like, no shit. And anyway, so I went out there and hunted all the time, and I haven't spoken to him recently. I actually went by his house. It was back in the fall because he at the wholesale nursery that I buy from. He's like right down the street from there too.
Yeah. And I always wanted to buy a bunch of pheasant and put them on the property we have here because in the mid 90s, that's when I was a young kid. Like the pheasant just seemed to like just dry up when I was living up north. But like there's not too far from here, they have like a little pheasant place that they like sell them by the bunches. I don't know.
Yeah,
I would love
dude. We have one of the largest quail hunting facilities in the United States. Is less than 20 minutes from me. It is a massive place.
You ever ate dove?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah, dove's great too. I've only had it one time, and I only popped a few doves. But like them breasts are so good. A lot of people overlook birds. Everybody wants to talk about like deer or whatever. But like, dude, bird is where it's at. Like,
dude, I am much more of a bird. Dude, we're stocked up with duck right now, and that's one of my favorite things to eat. I even got nice waiters. Andrew said he's going to bed. I'm about right there too. Are you going to bring him up to do his weather report? Well, we're already at 12. We were on hot topic tonight, man. It
is about that time. Well, I guess so. I guess I better hang it up too.
And let's get back to the. Yeah, we've been on for 2.5 hours, dude. It doesn't seem like it. But this is the podcast about everything yet nothing at all with substitute teacher Jesse James in the house tonight, people. And Flute will be back. Kenny and anybody else who may have just tuned in, he had to work late. He was in here earlier in the chat room for a little bit before he went to bed, but we'll be here next time. And well, you might see Jesse. I don't know. I might tell Flute to kiss my ass because he doesn't like me enough to come up here. You know, he doesn't want to be my bud.
He said he was gonna send me a hat. You never did.
Yeah. He said he was, he said he was going to send me $50 a week for letting you come up on the podcast. I ain't seen a dime yet. We're 2 years in.
Yeah. Oh, hates me.
But anyway, I hope y'all had a good one. And Andrew, we'll get you up next time, man. Sorry, we just got off on tangents, and because every time I saw you ask, we went off on another atmosphere. But thank you for being here all the time, Andrew, and thank you for being our weatherman. But to sum everything up real quick, I think everybody's going to see some bad weather coming in the next few days. I think it's going to start out there in the Midwest.
Podcast to get Andrew up when the weather starts rolling in.
Yeah. We might have to do the breaking news with Andrew. Anyway, y'all have a good night. We'll see you next week.